Chapter 23-24. With age comes wisdom.
Go play.
Star Elder's voice came through. Xiao Wu exclaimed,
Thank you, Grandpa Star.
Before she finished speaking, she had already rushed into the Law Star Sea. Xiao Wu played freely in the Law Star Sea, flying among countless law stars, showing none of the demeanor of a holy venerable. Although she had lived for countless years, her heart remained as pure and innocent as a child's. Lin Moyu bowed to Star Elder.
Star Elder, long time no see.
Star Elder still sat there, fishing for non-existent fish, unchanged for millennia. His face was full of kindness and a smile.
You must have gained something this time.
Lin Moyu nodded.
Indeed I have. I came this time to discuss something with you and the human emperor.
A light shone, and the human emperor's projection appeared beside him. Lin Moyu got straight to the point.
In this battle with the Battle Realm, I do not intend to deploy the human army.
Star Elder squinted his eyes.
You don't want the human race to suffer losses, right?
Lin Moyu nodded.
That's one reason, but there's a deeper reason. Tell us.
Lin Moyu explained his reasoning. The first reason was that the final outcome would not be decided by ordinary holy venerables but by supremes. Currently, the strongest humans, apart from Lin Moyu and Lin Mohan, were the human emperor and Star Elder. Both were only half-step supremes and could not decide the outcome of this great battle. As for the holy venerables, they were even less significant. Sending them to the battlefield would only make them cannon fodder. The second reason was the relationship between the human race and the great world. The human race was a life form nurtured by the great world, and the rise and fall of the human race were linked to the fortune of the great world. If the human race suffered too many casualties, the fortune of the great world would also be damaged. This was something Lin Moyu only understood after becoming a holy venerable and having his own rule world. The strength of the human race would make the fortune of the great world stronger. Based on these two reasons, there was enough justification not to let the human race participate in the battle. After listening to Lin Moyu, both the human emperor and Star Elder fell into deep thought. They knew Lin Moyu was right. He was stating a fact. Now, Lin Moyu alone possessed the strength to crush the entire human race. If even he couldn't stop the battle realm, they had no chance. Suicide would be the best option. The human emperor, after analyzing the data, already had an answer. He exchanged a glance with Star Elder and then said,
Then we will defend within the human star domain, relying on the 10,000 star array.
Lin Moyu said,
That's what I thought too. The 10,000 star array also needs people to operate it to maximize its power. Red Star Supreme might be too busy at that time. If several holy venerables could assist, that would be ideal.
Star Elder chuckled.
This way, we are indeed relaxed, but you will have to work hard. It's my duty.
Lin Moyu also breathed a sigh of relief, fearing they would insist on participating in the battle. But it seemed unlikely. Both the human emperor and Star Elder were rational and wouldn't do something so irrational. Lin Moyu continued,
Let's analyze the situation of the battle realm and see if there is any backing behind it.
This time, the divine travel possessed a young nobleman who managed a large amount of information and liked to read it himself. At that time, Tian Holy Venerable forcibly memorized all this information and brought it back. After all, the possessed was just a wisp of soul, not very strong, so Tian Holy Venerable could only forcibly memorize it. There was a lot of information over 100 years, covering all aspects of the battle realm. After organizing it, the human emperor found something unusual in one of the less conspicuous pieces of information. In the battle realm, everyone revered the battle emperor, who was the ruler of the entire battle realm, an unparalleled existence. But the battle emperor's life was not infinite. He would grow old and face death. And every time a battle emperor died, a new battle emperor would immediately appear. Some said it was the battle emperor's nirvana and rebirth. Once, there was an incredibly powerful star warrior who did not establish a city and was a free star warrior. After his death, a note was circulated. The note stated that the battle emperor was actually a subordinate of another great being. Every time a battle emperor died, that great being would appoint a new star warrior as the new battle emperor. The existence of the battle emperor was to manage the entire battle realm for him. That star warrior once had a chance to become the new battle emperor, but unfortunately, he failed in the competition. These words became a legend in the battle realm and were never confirmed. Many people thought it was just the imagination of that star warrior in his old age. The human emperor found the anomaly from this piece of information. Lin Moyu did not question the human emperor's analysis. The human emperor's conclusions based on data were not easily wrong. The human emperor believed there was a 50% chance it was true. Lin Moyu fell into deep thought.
Is it imagination, or is there really such an existence? When the Great World collided with the Black Blood Great Realm, there was also a powerful force behind the Black Blood Great Realm. If that's the case, it's not impossible for there to be another existence behind the battle realm. This existence should transcend the world and come from beyond the world, from the realm's sea. Then what is their purpose? Why do they do this?
Lin Moyu believed that anyone who did anything had a purpose and a motive, always wanting to gain something. So what could be gained by manipulating a world? The resources of this world. Perhaps that was just one of the reasons. What was the purpose of manipulating the Black Blood Great Realm to fight the Great World? If the Black Blood Great Realm won, what would they gain? The purposes of the two might be similar. They both had something they wanted.
It shouldn't be the power of origin. If such an existence needed the power of origin, they could completely find it in the realm sea. Then what is it for?
Lin Moyu thought for a long time but couldn't find an answer. Lin Moyu thought that perhaps Antares would know the answer, but he had already left the Great World with that small world. Antares said he would return, but who knew when that would be? Lin Moyu no longer had high hopes for him, as long as he was safe. The Heavenly Dragon must also know, but the Heavenly Dragon would definitely not say. Lin Moyu thought about trying to get some information from the Heavenly Dragon, but there seemed to be no reason to do so. If he could find the fourth dragon pearl, there might be some hope. Star Elder smiled and said,
If you can't figure it out, don't think about it. Even if we know there's someone behind the battle realm, there's nothing we can do.
Lin Moyu laughed.
Indeed, there's nothing we can do. Whether there's someone or not, we have to fight this battle. For the battle realm, the Great World is their hope for promotion. And for us, this is the Great World's chance for self-rescue.
Star Elder, full of kindness, said,
Indeed, no matter what, we have to fight this battle. At worst, we lose, it's no big deal.
Star Elder waved his hand.
With age comes wisdom.
Lin Moyu was amused by Star Elder's demeanor, and the gloom from earlier dissipated. The human emperor continued,
There's one more thing. After the Bull Demon clan was exterminated, the traces of the Buddha clan disappeared, and we don't know where they are hiding.
Lin Moyu said,
The Buddha clan's purpose is simple, to gain the power of origin from the Great World. They will come out sooner or later. These sneaky guys, when they come out, I'll deal with them all.
The human emperor asked,
How confident are you about this battle with the battle realm?
Lin Moyu said,
If they only have one battle emperor, I am at least 70% confident.
This Star Elder and the human emperor looked at Lin Moyu in shock. Clearly, Lin Moyu's trip to the outer domain had yielded astonishing results. 2325, 2325. Chapter 2325. Your own choices change destiny. In the Bai family of God City, the family head Bai Choxia was at the otherworldly realm level. The Bai family was not only a major clan in God City, but also controlled the White Tiger Star region. During the previous 100 Clans War, various clans contributed their efforts, and the Bai family ancestor also went to battle. However, Bai Choxia had encountered problems during cultivation, resulting in damage to his soul. His combat power was somewhat inferior compared to other otherworldly realm experts. Nevertheless, he still fought with all his might, holding nothing back, and was wounded again on the battlefield. Later, when Lin Moyu arrived on the battlefield and scattered his life force to heal all the soldiers, Bai Choxia's injuries improved, and even the damage to his soul showed signs of recovery. Even Bai Qiuxia himself felt that his injuries were no longer a problem. However, unexpectedly, after more than 100 years, his injuries began to recur. Only then did Bai Qiuxia realize that the root cause of his injuries had not been eliminated. He could only seek help from the human emperor to find Lin Moyu, as only Lin Moyu had a way to treat his soul injury. Unfortunately, at that time, Lin Moyu was busy rushing about from place to place. The human emperor knew that Bai Qiuxia's injury was not life-threatening, so he kept delaying until now. Just now, when the human emperor mentioned the Bai family to Lin Moyu remembered the matter and immediately headed to the Bai family. The human emperor opened a teleportation array for Lin Moyu, directly transporting him to the planet where the Bai family was located. Families with otherworldly realm ancestors controlled vast resources. The Bai family owned 10 star systems, and on the main star where the Bai family resided, there was only the Bai family. The Bai family had over 1 million members, truly a behemoth of a clan. The teleportation array lit up, and Lin Moyu appeared within it. The two Bai family members guarding the teleportation array looked at the suddenly arriving Lin Moyu with uncertainty and suspicion. This was the Bai family's private teleportation array, which outsiders couldn't possibly access. Lin Moyu's attire also didn't resemble that of the Bai family members. Although they were suspicious, the two were still polite. One of them carefully asked,
"Who are you? What business do you have with our Bai family?"
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
"Please inform Elder Bai Qiuxia that Lin Moyu has come to pay a visit."
One of them frowned.
"You want to see our ancestor? Our family ancestor isn't someone you can just..."
Before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by the other person.
"Did you say your name is Lin Moyu?"
Lin Moyu nodded slightly.
"Are you the legendary Lin Moyu?"
Lin Moyu smiled.
"I should be."
Lin Moyu's name was most renowned right after the Great War ended, and the entire human race knew of the names of the siblings Lin Moyu and Lin Mohan. Everyone regarded Lin Moyu as an idol. Later, as time passed and more geniuses emerged in the human race, Lin Moyu's name gradually faded. However, in many people's hearts, Lin Moyu was still an irreplaceable legend. The two present were both young, having just reached the transcendent god realm. They should be from the new generation of the Bai family. They had heard legends of Lin Moyu but had never seen him before. The two Bai family members reacted differently, one shocked, the other doubtful and disbelieving. One maintained his suspicion.
"Are you really Lin Moyu? You're not an imposter, are you?"
The other said,
"Senior, please wait a moment. This junior will report this immediately."
After saying this, he immediately took out the jade tablet from his waist and communicated with it through his soul, reporting the situation here. The other person looked at him.
"Have you gone mad? What if he's a fake? You'll be punished."
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
"Indeed, what if I'm a fake?"
That person said,
"I trust my own judgment."
Lin Moyu became somewhat interested.
"Tell me, how did you make your judgment?"
The person said,
"Sir's ability to come here through the teleportation array is enough to prove that you are extraordinary. This is our Bai family's private teleportation array. Without our Bai family's permission, outsiders cannot use it. This junior has heard that apart from our Bai family, only the Human Emperor Network has the right to use this teleportation array. Moreover, Sir's demeanor is something this junior has seen in several seniors before. Those seniors were all friends of our ancestor. This junior feels that Sir is a great figure at the same level as our ancestor."
Lin Moyu looked at him.
"Anything else?"
The person said,
"Also, the tone Sir used when referring to Ancestor Qiuxia further indicates Sir's unique status."
Lin Moyu smiled.
"You're very observant. What's your name?"
The person immediately bowed and said,
"This junior is Bai."
Lin Moyu paused slightly.
"Your name is Bai?" "Yes."
Bai was also puzzled. Lin Moyu's reaction clearly showed that he had questions about his name. Lin Moyu smiled.
"I happen to have a senior whose name differs from yours by just one character."
At that moment, he thought of Bai Yuan. Many of Bai Yuan's words and actions still served as a model for him even now. Suddenly, a beam of light rose from afar, exploding in the sky into tens of thousands of colorful clouds, incredibly beautiful. Then, a 9-colored light beam shot over from the sky, and upon it, a valiant woman descended through the air. Seeing the woman, Lin Moyu couldn't help but smile.
She has also reached the otherworldly realm.
The person who came was Bai Binger, originally the domain lord of the White Tiger Star region. After the Great War, she advanced to the otherworldly realm and returned to the Bai family.
It's I's ancestor.
Seeing Bai Binger, Bai Yi and the other person immediately lowered their heads, not daring to look. Bai Binger was an otherworldly realm expert referred to as Ice ancestor in the family, at the same level as Bai Chosha. Unexpectedly, Bai Binger had come personally. Bai Yi trembled all over. He knew he hadn't done anything wrong. The person before him was indeed the legendary figure. Bai Binger, wrapped in colorful clouds, descended in front of Lin Moyu and respectfully bowed.
Lin Moyu's grand visit brings honor to our humble abode. We apologize for not welcoming you from afar.
Lin Moyu waved his hand, interrupting her words.
Domain Lord, you've always been efficient and decisive. When did you become so long-winded?
Bai Binger smiled and said,
Times have changed, and your status is different now.
Lin Moyu said,
Come on, what does status matter? If you keep talking like this, I'll turn around and leave. Don't.
Bai Binger hurriedly waved her hands, then laughed freely.
All right then, I'll change my approach. We've been waiting for you for so many years, and finally you've come.
Lin Moyu said,
This matter is indeed my fault. I've been too busy.
Bai Binger said,
We know you've been busy. Ancestor Qiuxiao's issue isn't too serious, so delaying for a while wasn't a big problem.
Lin Moyu said,
Let's go, take me to see him.
Bai Binger immediately waved her hand, bringing down the 9-colored clouds from the sky. Welcoming guests with 9-colored clouds was already an extremely high courtesy in the human race. Using this level of courtesy for Lin Moyu's current status and position was not excessive. Just before stepping onto the colorful clouds, Lin Moyu suddenly looked at Bai Yi.
This young one is not bad. He seems to have some connection with me. Let's bring him along.
Bai Yi trembled violently, hardly believing it. Bai Binger naturally wouldn't refuse Lin Moyu's request.
Then you come up too. Thank you, Senior Lin. Thank you, Ice Ancestor.
He immediately stepped onto the colorful clouds, following behind Lin Moyu. However, he was very sensible, maintaining a certain distance, standing only at the very edge of the 9-colored clouds. As the colorful clouds carried the three towards the Bai family, Lin Moyu looked at Bai Yi.
Relax, don't be nervous. This is your own home after all.
Bai Binger smiled and said,
Lin Moyu seems to think highly of him.
Lin Moyu smiled and said,
He's observant, has good soul sensitivity, and has a solid foundation. He's a promising talent.
Bai Binger nodded.
Since Lin Moyu says so, our Bai family will nurture him well and see if he can become a great talent.
Lin Moyu smiled.
I trust my own judgment.
Beside them, Bai Yi was so excited he couldn't speak. Among the million members of the Bai family, he was nothing special. Now, because of a single sentence from Lin Moyu, his destiny was about to change. In his heart, he had already regarded Lin Moyu as a deity. It was Lin Moyu who had changed his destiny. Lin Moyu saw through his thoughts and said,
You don't need to be too grateful to me. It's your own choices that change destiny. You'll understand naturally in the future.
2326 Chapter 2326. You thank too early, it's not cured yet. In the ancestral residence of the Bai family, Lin Moyu met Bai Chosha. Bai Chosha appeared somewhat aged, but this aging was not due to years. It was different from being elderly. There was a hint of decay about him, caused by years of soul injury. Bai Chosha had prepared tea and snacks. As soon as Lin Moyu arrived, he warmly welcomed him to sit. Bai Qiuxia said,
Since being treated by Mr. Lin on the battlefield, I thought my injuries had greatly improved. Unexpectedly, after just over 100 years, they recurred. Helplessly, I can only trouble Mr. Lin again.
Lin Moyu felt somewhat embarrassed.
I've been so busy that I neglected you, Senior Qiuxia.
Bai Qiuxia shook his head.
Mr. Lin, you are too polite. You have been busy with important matters for the human race. I understand. Can you tell me about your injury?
Lin Moyu asked. Bai Qiuxia nodded.
I'll let you take a look first.
Bai Qiuxia's aura surged, laws flowed, and his soul was revealed. The pressure belonging to the otherworldly realm, along with his soul, enveloped a large area. Lin Moyu frowned slightly. An otherworldly realm expert should have a high degree of control over their power, and such uncontrolled pressure was unusual. An otherworldly realm expert should have mastered their power to the extent that pressure would not leak unless they intended it. But Bai Qiuxia was clearly not like that. His soul pressure was almost uncontrollably chaotic. No wonder there were many formations set up around Bai Qiuxia's residence, and no one lived nearby. Bai Yi, who had come along, turned pale, unable to withstand the pressure of Bai Qiuxia's otherworldly realm. Not only Bai Yi, but Bai Binger also felt uncomfortable. She had just reached the otherworldly realm and was not as powerful as Bai Qiuxia, so she could only barely maintain herself. To Bai Yi, it felt like the end of the world, with heaven and earth collapsing. Lin Moyu casually flicked a trace of the law of immortality onto Bai Yi, and the almost collapsing Bai Yi instantly felt the world brighten, with all pressure dissipating. The power of life flowed through his body, and Bai Yi even felt an inexhaustible strength. Lin Moyu looked at Bai Qiuxia's revealed soul. The soul is the most secretive existence, and Bai Qiuxia's willingness to reveal his soul indicated his immense trust in Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu carefully examined Bai Qiuxia's soul and found an inconspicuous black spot at its center. It was this black spot that disrupted the integrity of the soul, making it difficult for Bai Qiuxia to control his power freely. As a result, tasks that others could accomplish with 1 unit of effort might require him to use 2. This inconspicuous black spot weakened his strength by at least 30%. The most troublesome part was that with a soul injury, he was almost destined never to become a saint. Lin Moyu stared at the black spot, frowning as if pondering something. Bai Qiuxia grew nervous, unsure if Lin Moyu could heal his injury. Lin Moyu sent a surge of life force into Bai Qiuxia's soul. The life force, like sweet rain, made Bai Qiuxia feel extremely comfortable. The decay on Bai Qiuxia's body quickly disappeared, and even his appearance became much younger. Bai Qiuxia transformed from an old man to a middle-aged man in an instant. The black spot on his soul also shrank rapidly under the influence of the life force. Bai Qiuxia seemed to regain control over his power, with his soul pressure no longer leaking uncontrollably, moving as he wished. Bai Binger showed a look of joy.
It's working.
What others saw as an incurable injury seemed easily treatable in Lin Moyu's hands. Bai Qiuxia bowed to Lin Moyu.
Mr. Lin, you are truly capable.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
You think too early. It's not cured yet.
Bai Qiuxia was stunned. Not cured yet, but he felt completely healed. Lin Moyu's eyes were sharp, staring at Bai Qiuxia's soul as more life force continuously poured in. In his eyes, the black spot still existed, though it had shrunk to an extremely small size. If not for his strong spiritual sense, he wouldn't have noticed it. This was why Bai Qiuxia had felt healed before, only for the injury to recur after 100 years. Because it was never completely cured, the injury still existed, merely suppressed temporarily. This time was the same. Lin Moyu could suppress Bai Qiuxia's injury for 100 years, even 200 years without issue. But as long as the injury remained, Bai Qiuxia could forget about advancing further. Becoming a saint was hopeless. Lin Moyu found that no matter how much life force he used, it was futile. The black spot was extremely stubborn and refused to disappear. After some thought, Lin Moyu said,
Relax, it might hurt a bit.
Bai Qiuxia fully trusted Lin Moyu.
Mr. Lin, do as you please.
Lin Moyu wrapped the power of death in the power of life and sent it into Bai Qiuxia's soul. He did it very carefully. The power of death could cause severe damage to the soul, so it needed to be delivered precisely to the original wound. The power of death could erase almost all forces, good or bad. Therefore, the power of death could sometimes be used for healing depending on how it was used. Once the power of death reached the target, Lin Moyu released his control over it. Intense soul pain swept through Bai Qiuxia's body, causing him to groan and tremble, sweating profusely in an instant. However, he endured it without screaming. After a few seconds, Lin Moyu withdrew the power of death and continued to nourish Bai Qiuxia's soul with the power of life. But his frown deepened. The power of death had no effect. It couldn't erode the black spot. This was the first time he had encountered such a situation. As the pain subsided, Bai Qiuxia saw Lin Moyu's expression and felt a bad premonition.
Mr. Lin, is it incurable?
Lin Moyu didn't hide it.
Indeed, it's difficult to treat. Senior Qiuxia, can you tell me how you got injured?
Although somewhat disappointed, Bai Qiuxia remained calm. With Lin Moyu's life force suppressing it, the injury no longer affected him for the time being. Even if it were to recur, it would be 100 years later. He retracted his soul, took a sip of tea, and slowly said,
Back then, I finally reached the otherworldly realm. Knowing that with my aptitude, becoming a saint was nearly impossible without some extraordinary opportunity. So I went to the outer domain, seeking opportunities. I searched for hundreds of years and finally found a spatial rift, entering a peculiar world. There, I found a treasure that could accelerate my cultivation speed. I thought it was my opportunity. Just when I believed I had hope of becoming a saint, danger struck. In that world, a strange creature appeared capable of soul attacks. My soul was injured at that time. Fortunately, I had a soul-protecting treasure, so the injury wasn't severe. I searched everywhere in that world and eventually found an exit, escaping.
After hearing his story, Lin Moyu asked,
Can I see that treasure?
Bai Qiuxia had prepared in advance and directly took out the treasure. The treasure looked ordinary, nothing special, but Lin Moyu could sense a peculiar aura within it. Narrowing his eyes, he carefully sensed with his soul and finally found something amiss. The treasure contained soul power, but it wasn't human soul power. It was dragon soul power. That place was related to the dragon race. Lin Moyu immediately asked,
Is that spatial rift still there?
Bai Qiuxia shook his head.
After I returned, I reported it to the Human Emperor Network. A saint went to search but didn't find the spatial rift. However, based on the pattern of the spatial rift's appearance, it might appear again.
Lin Moyu said softly,
Give me the exact location. I'll go take a look.
2327 2327. Chapter 2327. Dragon Pearl Evolving Self-Awareness? The treasure Bai Qiuxia obtained from that special space contained the aura of a dragon soul. This made Lin Moyu think of the heavenly dragon's dragon pearl. Both were found in the outer domain and both had the aura of a dragon, making it hard not to draw a connection. The dragon pearl is the most important thing for every dragon, containing their power, soul, spells, and more. Without the dragon pearl, a dragon's power would significantly decrease, their realm would drop, and even their spells would be lost. Moreover, the importance of each dragon pearl varies, and the power contained within each one is different. It is possible that this dragon pearl is one of the more powerful ones, and after so many years it might have evolved into something else. If it contains the soul of the heavenly dragon and has evolved self-awareness, that would be interesting. Although the laws in the boundary area are somewhat chaotic, they couldn't stop Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu forcibly opened a space gate within it, arriving at the area where the heavenly dragon was located. The heavenly dragon opened its eyes and looked at Lin Moyu.
Did you find the dragon pearl?
Lin Moyu replied,
It's not that easy. I just found some clues.
The heavenly dragon immediately became interested,
What clues?
Lin Moyu recounted what happened to Bai Chosha and shared his own speculations. The heavenly dragon's brows furrowed, and its dragon scales clashed together, making a clinking sound. After a while, the heavenly dragon spoke again.
What you said is not impossible. There are 2 dragon pearls in the outer domain. One of them contains a secret technique related to the soul, which is why it has strong soul power. This secret technique can corrode the soul and is extremely difficult to remove completely. Even if I can't retrieve that dragon pearl, can heal the injury caused by the secret technique.
Lin Moyu's eyes lit up.
So if we find that dragon pearl, you can heal it?
The heavenly dragon snorted.
Of course. Do you think I'm just for show?
Lin Moyu said.
All right, I will go there to search. If I find it, I'll bring the dragon pearl back, and you help me heal him. But this is not within our original deal. Is there any problem?
The heavenly dragon snorted.
Even if you wanted to include this in our deal, I wouldn't agree. My deals are not that cheap.
Lin Moyu laughed.
Then it's settled. Wait.
Just as Lin Moyu was about to leave, the heavenly dragon suddenly called out to him. The heavenly dragon gritted its teeth and let out a muffled groan as more than 10 dragon scales fell off simultaneously. A dragon breath sprayed out, turning into flames that burned the dragon scales. The dragon scales melted in the dragon breath, eventually forming a sphere. This sphere was even larger than a dragon pearl and was hollow inside. The heavenly dragon said,
If it is as you suspect, use this dragon trap sphere to contain the dragon pearl. Remember not to touch the dragon pearl directly, understand?
Lin Moyu took the dragon trap sphere.
Of course, I understand.
If the dragon pearl had indeed awakened self-awareness, it would become extremely dangerous. Especially with the secret technique contained within it, even the power of life would struggle to completely heal it. The heavenly dragon made the dragon trap sphere for its own safety. More than 10 dragon scales fell off at once. Judging by the heavenly dragon's expression, it seemed to be quite painful.
I'm off.
Lin Moyu put away the dragon trap sphere and opened the space gate. Seeing Lin Moyu disappear, the heavenly dragon's gaze became complicated.
Stop, dragon pearl evolving self-awareness. Don't let me find out who tampered with it, or I'll skin you alive and roast your soul with dragon breath for 1,000,000 years.
The heavenly dragon cursed, its eyes filled with hatred. The aura of the outer domain hit him in the face. Lin Moyu didn't expect that he would return to the outer domain so soon after just coming back to the inner domain. The location where Bai Chosha encountered the spatial rift wasn't far, only about 200,000 light-years from the inner domain. Back then, Bai Chosha was at the otherworldly realm, and 200,000 light-years was enough for him to explore. The probability of a spatial rift appearing is very low, and the outer domain is so vast. Whether it was good luck or bad luck for him to encounter it is unknown. The outer domain's starry sky was silent and boundless. 200,000 light-years had already isolated most of the starlight, making it almost completely dark here. Lin Moyu had been in the outer domain for many years and was long accustomed to it. He carefully sensed the spatial changes. Space was not static but always fluctuating. In Lin Moyu's perception, space was like ripples on the water, one circle after another, constantly undulating. Many changes that had occurred in space would leave traces in the ripples, which would be hard to erase for a long time. If a spatial rift had appeared here, as long as it hadn't been more than 100 years, he could find the traces. The benefits of the space law were evident at this moment. Coupled with his extremely sensitive soul, Lin Moyu's perception of space far exceeded that of others. Even saints who also mastered the space law couldn't match him. Soon, Lin Moyu made a discovery. He found a spatial crack. This spatial crack had already disappeared, leaving only a mark. It was like a broken mirror that had been repaired, still leaving traces.
Found it.
Just finding a mark left by a spatial crack wasn't enough to determine if it was a spatial rift. After all, many reasons could cause a spatial crack. Lin Moyu had his own methods. The time law began to surge, and the time-law star river appeared, connecting to the river of time.
Time reversal.
With a thought, time began to reverse. This time, the reversal didn't need to go back too far, and Lin Moyu found it easy. The time law found the marks in time and represented the events that had occurred in this starry sky. Reversing time to 50 years ago, space was still calm, and nothing had happened. 60 years, 70 years, still nothing. It wasn't until 87 years ago that space in the time stream twisted, and a spatial rift suddenly appeared. The time reversal became slow, changing from years to days. Until the spatial rift disappeared, Lin Moyu stopped the time reversal.
The spatial rift appeared 87 years ago and lasted for 100 days. It seems that every time the spatial rift appears, it lasts for about 100 days. It's just unknown how often it appears.
Bai Qiuxia had once entered the spatial rift, and 87 years ago, it appeared again. This basically confirmed that the spatial rift would repeatedly appear here. It's just that the interval between appearances was uncertain. Could be a few years, a few decades, centuries, or even millennia. Lin Moyu began searching for more cracks. He needed more information. The location of the spatial rift wouldn't be fixed, but it wouldn't deviate too far either. Soon, he found another spatial crack 1,000,000 kilometers away. He began another time reversal. This time, the spatial rift appeared 67 years ago and also lasted for 100 days.
87 years ago and 67 years ago, each appeared once. Could the interval be 20 years?
Lin Moyu muttered to himself and began searching for more spatial cracks. 2,000,000 kilometers away, he found another spatial crack. This spatial crack's mark was very faint, almost disappearing. Under the time reversal, Lin Moyu found that this time the spatial rift appeared 97 years ago. By now, Lin Moyu could basically confirm that the spatial rift appeared every 10 years and lasted for 100 days each time. According to this calculation, the spatial rift would appear again in about 3 years. 3 years was a wait he could afford. As for where the spatial rift would appear, that wasn't a problem. With his perception of space, any spatial changes within a light year couldn't escape his detection.
In that case, let's wait. 3 years is enough time to prepare some soul power for the blood-devouring puppet.
2328, 2328. Chapter 2328. If speed is not enough, make up for it with quantity. In the soul world, Lin Moyu condensed soul fire. The world tree leaves fell off accordingly, falling into the soul fire and beginning to melt. World tree leaves are excellent materials for refining artifacts, and their grade changes with Lin Moyu's soul. Now that Lin Moyu has a supreme level soul, the world tree leaves, in terms of grade alone, are already considered top-tier materials in the Saint Venerable realm. The world tree leaves melted in the soul fire, turning into liquid, and following Lin Moyu's will, condensed into a bead. Lin Moyu simultaneously focused on 2 tasks, drawing an ancient talisman. The ancient talisman was called the soul-gathering talisman, used to collect soul power. What Lin Moyu was refining was called a soul bead, which ancient talisman masters often refined. Soul beads store soul power and can release it when needed. Originally, with the world tree, he didn't need to store extra soul power and had never thought about refining soul beads. But after several time reversals, Lin Moyu found that there was actually a need to store soul power. Although the world tree can replenish soul power, the speed of replenishment has a certain limit. With soul beads, as long as there are enough of them, the speed of replenishing soul power is almost unlimited. Moreover, soul beads have another function. They can provide soul power for the blood-devouring puppet. The process of refining soul beads is not complicated. For Lin Moyu, it was extremely easy. In just a few minutes, a soul bead was successfully refined. Lin Moyu began to infuse soul power into the soul bead, but this process lasted a full hour. The soul bead can barely be considered a Saint Venerable level treasure, and it's a special and relatively fragile treasure. It has a limit on the speed of absorbing and releasing soul power. It can't be too fast or it will easily break. That's why ancient talisman masters would refine large quantities of soul beads for emergencies. Lin Moyu estimated that the soul power a single soul bead could store was about 1% of all his soul power. In other words, it would take 100 soul beads to match all the soul power in his body. In terms of cost-effectiveness, soul beads are indeed not high, which is why he hadn't thought about refining them before.
If speed is not enough, then make up for it with quantity.
Lin Moyu thought for a moment, then immediately refined another one, handing it to the world tree after completion, letting the world tree replenish soul power for the soul bead. The world tree was idle anyway, so using it for this task wouldn't be a waste. Lin Moyu was responsible for refining, while the world tree replenished, greatly improving efficiency. World tree leaves kept falling, turning into soul bead materials. Over 3 years, Lin Moyu didn't know how many soul beads he had refined. He had lost count. He only knew that there was a huge branch on the world tree that had become bare, with almost all its leaves fallen off. 3 years later, a faint spatial vibration appeared from millions of miles away. Lin Moyu immediately detected the spatial change, his gaze sweeping over to see the spatial hole.
It's finally here.
With a smile on his lips, he took a step and rushed into the spatial hole. His vision distorted for a moment, then quickly became clear. Waves of peculiar aura hit him. This was the unique aura of the dragon race. Even if this world wasn't evolved from the heavenly dragon's dragon pearl, it was definitely related to the dragon race. Lin Moyu stood in mid-air, surveying this world. Million-meter-high mountain ranges, dense forests, and vast rivers surging between the mountains. Based on Bai Qiuxia's description, Lin Moyu knew that the world he had entered was the same place Bai Qiuxia had been to before. These landscapes weren't rare. There were plenty in the great world. What was rare were the trees in the mountains, which looked somewhat familiar. Lin Moyu looked carefully and found that no matter how high each mountain was, it only had one tree. This tree was at the mountain peak, extremely lush, with leaves hanging down like vines, extending over the entire million-meter-high mountain, creating the illusion of dense forests.
It's the heavenly dragon's tree. This world is also the heavenly dragon's rule world.
Lin Moyu finally understood that the tree covering the million-meter-high mountain was very similar to the large tree where the heavenly dragon resided. And the situation in this world was also 7 or 8/10 similar to the heavenly dragon's rule world. At this point, Lin Moyu was 80% sure that this world was indeed evolved from the heavenly dragon's dragon pearl. He just didn't know if the dragon pearl had evolved naturally due to its overwhelming power, or if it had developed consciousness and then imitated the evolution. If it was the latter, the danger would be much greater. Lin Moyu had many methods to deal with such evolved worlds. The skeleton divine general appeared, flying in all directions. The first step was exploration. No matter how dangerous this world was, the skeleton divine general would encounter it first. Millions of skeleton divine generals were enough to flush out all kinds of dangers. Back then, Bai Qiuxia was able to find a way to survive here, indicating that the dangers in this world were also quite limited. As long as he was careful about the secret technique in the dragon pearl, there wouldn't be any problems. The skeleton divine generals rushed into the forests but didn't encounter any dangers. Those large trees seemed to have no offensive capabilities. The skeleton divine generals then rushed into the great rivers, still encountering no dangers. The river currents were rapid and the waters extremely clear, but there was nothing inside. In the high mountains and dense forests, the skeleton divine generals searched thoroughly but found nothing, not even a pebble. This kind of evolved world had an unreal feeling, belonging to a lower level of evolution, even inferior to some secret realms evolved from ancient talisman fragments.
According to Bai Qiuxia's account, he found that treasure in the river.
Lin Moyu focused his search on the rivers. The world wasn't large. The rivers were only 100,000 kilometers long from end to end, and the skeleton divine generals could search the entire river quickly. Just half an hour later, the skeleton divine generals made a discovery. At the bottom of the river was embedded a fist-sized gemstone. The gemstone emitted a faint glow, concealed by the water and not very noticeable. The skeleton divine general brought the gemstone back. This gemstone was identical to the one Bai Qiuxia had obtained. The gemstone contained a trace of dragon soul aura. It could function similarly to a dragon soul crystal, purifying the soul, making it purer and thus stronger, elevating one's realm. However, compared to a real dragon soul crystal, the gemstone's effect was somewhat inferior. In fact, Lin Moyu knew very well that for other cultivators, a dragon soul crystal was a supreme treasure. But for himself, the effect was much less significant. His soul was too pure, greatly diminishing the presence of the dragon soul crystal. Lin Moyu held the gemstone and looked into the distance.
According to Senior Qiuxia, he was attacked shortly after obtaining the gemstone. The attack came suddenly, from a creature he had never seen before and could hardly describe, its origin unknown. If that's the case, let's wait and see.
Time passed minute by minute, with Lin Moyu holding the gemstone. About an hour later, an invisible spatial vibration suddenly appeared, causing all the mountains and forests to shake slightly. Ordinary cultivators would find it difficult to detect this vibration, but Lin Moyu could clearly feel it.
It's here,
he said softly, looking towards the distance following the spatial waves. At the peaks of the distant mountains, streams of invisible force were rising, evolving into illusory divine dragons. These illusory divine dragons had the form of divine dragons but were only about 10 meters long, quite small. They were entirely composed of soul power, soul dragons, wrapped in 7-colored flames. Lin Moyu was familiar with the aura of the 7-colored flames. It was identical to the injury in by Qiuxia's soul.
So this is the source of Senior Qiuxia's injury.
2329, 2329. Chapter 2329. So-called wise men make mistakes too. The 7-colored flames carried a peculiar toxicity that took root in the soul. Although it wouldn't cause fatal damage, it could destroy the integrity of the soul. Once injured, if it couldn't be healed, it would be difficult to advance one's soul realm further. Moreover, as time passed, control over the soul would become weaker and weaker. This kind of injury could be treated, but it was extremely difficult to cure completely. Even Lin Moyu's powers of life and death couldn't completely cure it. This made Lin Moyu realize that his techniques were not omnipotent. Perhaps they were omnipotent in the great world, but when facing powers from outside the great world, they seemed somewhat inadequate.
This Dragon Clan secret technique seems quite toxic.
Lin Moyu thought of the blood-polluted eye of the Black Blood Great Realm. The blood-polluted eye could also contaminate the soul. At best, it would damage the soul and completely incapacitate a person. At worst, it would annihilate the soul, causing instant death. The Dragon Clan's secret technique, although not fatal, was actually more cruel, being a form of long-term torture. No wonder the heavenly dragon warned not to touch these flames. Clearly, he knew how toxic his own secret technique was. Lin Moyu found that he had been locked onto. Those illusory divine dragons had locked onto him. Actually, they weren't locking onto him, but the gemstone in his hand.
They will attack whoever holds the gemstone. Then let me see how troublesome you are.
Lin Moyu smiled slightly, and the skeleton divine general swept out endless sword chi, vast and mighty, sweeping across the sky. The illusory divine dragons let out dragon roars, spewing out flames to block the sword chi. The sword chi quickly burned and vaporized in the flames, dissipating into nothingness before even getting close. The flames shook, agitating space, forming a soul attack that crashed down thunderously. This kind of all-encompassing attack was unavoidable no matter how one dodged. Lin Moyu's soul shook violently for a moment, and he instantly felt a burning sensation. Since reaching Saint Venerable, his soul world had already evolved into a rule world. At this moment, outside the rule world, a spark of fire appeared, burning the rule world, but unable to burn through it. Through the rule world, Lin Moyu could sense the peculiarity of the fire. The fire seemed to contain a strange power with extremely strong penetration. If it were an ordinary Saint Venerable, their rule world might not be able to block it. Unfortunately, his rule world surpassed the perfect grade, and blocking this kind of flame was effortless. On the mountains, Hundreds of illusory divine dragons spewed out a large amount of flames, forming 7-colored clouds, emitting bursts of dragon roars. The dragon roars carried soul attacks, but to Lin Moyu, this level of soul attack was like a gentle breeze, completely ineffective. Lin Moyu's soul realm had already reached the supreme level, and with the protection of his powerful rule world, even ordinary supremes would find it difficult to harm his soul. Seeing that the flames and soul attacks were ineffective, the illusory divine dragons roared again, shooting out even more dazzling 7-colored clouds. They flew into the clouds, roaring continuously, and a 1,000-meter divine dragon appeared in the 7-colored clouds. The appearance of this divine dragon was 8 or 9/10 similar to the heavenly dragon.
It seems it really is the heavenly dragon's dragon pearl.
At this moment, Lin Moyu was 90% sure that what had evolved this world was indeed the heavenly dragon's dragon pearl. Thinking of this, Lin Moyu suddenly slapped his forehead.
How could I be so stupid?
He suddenly realized that he was being too foolish, taking the long way around instead of using the ready-made tool at hand. Taking out the dragon-seeking ball, it immediately reacted, completely confirming Lin Moyu's guess that the dragon pearl was indeed here. Lin Moyu laughed self-mockingly.
So this is what they mean by even the wisest make mistakes.
While he was pondering, the 1,000-meter divine dragon had already charged towards him. Lin Moyu smiled, and the first undead legion moved out. The Bone Battle formation instantly took shape, the Bone Law Star River forming a star sea, with Commander Number 1 raising his battle blade, causing the Bone Star Sea to surge with endless waves. Bone Slash, the huge waves rose to the sky, evolving into a battle blade, slashing out a fierce strike towards the 1,000-meter divine dragon. The 1,000-meter divine dragon spewed dragon breath, 7-colored clouds filling the sky, countless flames falling from the sky like raindrops, smashing towards the Bone Star Sea. The Bone Star Sea was shaken by the flames, almost collapsing, but the Bone Battle Blade slashed onto the 1,000-meter divine dragon, instantly cutting it in two. The divine dragon let out a miserable cry, its body turning into nothingness and disappearing. The 1,000-meter divine dragon was completely composed of soul power, and the Bone Law happened to be targeted at attacking souls, perfectly countering it. The divine dragon seemed to have been slain, but the rain of flames continued, smashing the Bone Star Sea and causing waves to rise in all directions, constantly distorting and deforming, extremely unstable.
Just slaying the divine dragon is useless. We need to find the dragon pearl.
Lin Moyu was clear-minded, knowing that the 1,000-meter divine dragon was just an illusion. Only by finding the dragon pearl could the problem be solved at its root. This world was evolved from the dragon pearl, and no matter how the dragon pearl hid, it couldn't escape this world.
If you won't come out, I'll force you out.
Lin Moyu hardened his heart, and in an instant, countless undead flew out. Skeleton divine generals, death dragon knights, the entire undead legion launched a full-scale attack. The entire world, every corner above and below, was filled with the undead legion. The undead legion launched a carpet-bombing-style attack on the entire world, destroying mountains and forests, breaking rivers and streams. Lin Moyu had never used such a barbaric method to deal with problems before. Looking at the world being smashed to pieces, Lin Moyu smiled.
This is what they call brute force conquers all. No need to think. It feels quite good.
The entire world was almost destroyed. High mountains were leveled. Rivers were completely broken. River water evaporated under the sword chi, exposing the river bottom. There were still some gemstones at the bottom of the river, and Lin Moyu didn't hesitate to take them all. The 7-colored clouds in the sky were also completely dispersed. Not even a single cloud was left. The entire world fell into doomsday, with ruins everywhere. Lin Moyu's barbaric actions seemed to have angered the dragon pearl. Streams of flames burst out from under the river bottom, like a volcanic eruption. Dragon roars echoed across the sky. Boom! The ground exploded, and a divine dragon flew out from underground. The divine dragon was illusory, still composed of soul power, wrapped in cloud-like flames. Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes.
Finally came out.
Inside the divine dragon's head, there was a dragon pearl, which was indeed the heavenly dragon's fourth dragon pearl.
You must die.
The divine dragon roared in anger, its illusory eyes full of fury. Lin Moyu smiled.
Indeed, it has gained intelligence, but unfortunately, not very smart.
With a thought, the undead legion simultaneously attacked the divine dragon. A total of 50 undead legions comprising 50 million skeleton divine generals, led by 50 undead commanders, equivalent to 50 supreme realm powerhouses, launched a siege on the divine dragon. The heavenly dragon's dragon pearl was very strong, possessing some intelligence, evolving a world, not weaker than an ordinary supreme. But facing the attack of 50 supreme equivalent forces, it simply couldn't resist. Dragon roars continued. The divine dragon evolved from the dragon pearl struggled frantically, but to no avail. No matter how it resisted, it was useless. In the blink of an eye, it was torn to pieces by the undead legion. The divine dragon disappeared, leaving only a dragon pearl burning with flames in the sky. The dragon pearl spun rapidly, trying to escape, but was repeatedly beaten back by the undead legion. The dragon pearl was like a trapped beast, making its final struggle. Lin Moyu didn't try to capture the dragon pearl. He took out the dragon trap sphere given by the heavenly dragon and threw it towards the dragon pearl. The dragon pearl let out a scream, seeming very afraid of the dragon trap sphere. The dragon trap sphere generated an infinite suction force, transforming into a divine dragon that directly bit onto the dragon pearl. No matter how the dragon pearl struggled, it was futile. Lin Moyu clapped his hands.
Finally done.
2,330. Chapter 2330. It's not normal to have no talent. The dragon pearl was trapped and taken away by the dragon trap sphere, causing the world to collapse. Lin Moyu returned to the starry sky in an instant. This journey was smoother than expected, taking only 3 years to successfully retrieve the fourth dragon pearl. Thinking about how he had spent over 100 years in the outer domain without finding the fourth dragon pearl, it really was a matter of fate. With fate, one can naturally obtain it. Without fate, it's useless to try desperately. Lin Moyu, carrying the dragon pearl, returned to the boundary area. The heavenly dragon seemed to sense the aura of the dragon pearl, staring at Lin Moyu with disbelief.
So soon?
Lin Moyu smiled.
Don't you know my efficiency by now?
The heavenly dragon hadn't been able to retrieve even one dragon pearl for many years. Now, Lin Moyu was finding them one after another, which was indeed an extraordinary efficiency. Lin Moyu tossed the dragon trap sphere back to the heavenly dragon.
So, I found the dragon pearl for you so quickly. Is there any reward?
The heavenly dragon said irritably.
What more reward do you want? This is our deal. I will pay the agreed price.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Can't we have any other relationship besides a transactional one? Other relationship?
The heavenly dragon looked at Lin Moyu, his eyes flickering. Lin Moyu smiled slightly.
I am good friends with Antares. I think we can also become friends. Friends?
The heavenly dragon's eyes flickered, as if recalling something. After a moment, he slowly shook his head.
I don't need friends.
Lin Moyu looked at him and said word by word.
Have you been betrayed by friends?
The heavenly dragon snorted but did not answer. Lin Moyu said,
Antares once said that when he comes out, he will kill the dragon clan and soak the land with dragon blood. I also promised Antares that I would accompany him to the dragon clan.
The heavenly dragon exclaimed.
Did he really say that?
The heavenly dragon's breathing became heavier, constantly exhaling white gas. Lin Moyu nodded.
Yes, he said it. I can feel that Antares, like you, has hatred, the hatred of being betrayed by friends.
The heavenly dragon suddenly laughed, a wild laugh.
Indeed, the hatred of being betrayed by friends. So we don't need friends.
There was a hint of desolation in his voice, and Lin Moyu could feel this desolation, tinged with sadness. Lin Moyu said,
Not every friend will betray you. Some friends will never betray you. Some friends will even die for each other.
The heavenly dragon sighed deeply.
With your strength, if you want to kill the dragon clan, any divine dragon can kill you as easily as crushing an ant.
Lin Moyu said.
I know the dragon clan is strong. There are not only celestial venerables but also Tao venerables in the dragon clan. But so what? As long as Antares wants to do it, I promised him, and I will do it, even if it means death.
The heavenly dragon stared at Lin Moyu without blinking. From his eyes, Lin Moyu felt a change. Perhaps his words had moved him. The heavenly dragon's eyes showed a significant change, becoming softer, with much less vigilance. In fact, the heavenly dragon's eyes were somewhat similar to Antares's. Lin Moyu guessed that they must have experienced some unpleasant things in the dragon clan. From their words, it was evident that they harbored deep hatred, which was hard to conceal. After a while, the heavenly dragon exhaled deeply.
What reward do you want?
Lin Moyu smiled.
Actually, it's not really a reward. I just have some questions to ask you. Of course, I know your rules. Just tell me what you can.
The heavenly dragon nodded slowly.
Ask.
Lin Moyu said.
In 1,000 years, the battle realm will arrive. We discovered that there seems to be someone behind the battle realm.
The heavenly dragon suddenly laughed.
What's so strange about that? It's normal to have someone behind it. It's abnormal if there's no one.
Lin Moyu was shocked, as if he had heard a great secret. It's normal to have someone behind it. It's abnormal if there's no one. The heavenly dragon chuckled.
When you leave the great world someday, you will naturally understand. Knowing now doesn't mean much. I can tell you that even if there is someone behind the battle realm, that person may not necessarily get involved. At most, they can make some small moves, but those small moves won't change anything.
Lin Moyu asked.
Back then, during the battle between the Black Blood Great Realm and the Great World, there was someone behind the Black Blood Great Realm. If it weren't for him, perhaps the Great World wouldn't have reached this point.
The heavenly dragon shook his head.
That's different. What's different? The identity of the person behind the Black Blood Great Realm is different.
Lin Moyu wanted to ask more, but the heavenly dragon interrupted him.
Don't ask. The past is past. I can tell you that even if there is someone behind the battle realm, they won't intervene. Even if they do, it will only be small moves that won't change anything. Of course, if you can't even block their small moves, then you deserve it.
With just a few words, Lin Moyu was completely convinced that there was indeed someone behind the battle realm, but that person wouldn't truly intervene, at most making some small moves. Lin Moyu wanted to know what those small moves might be, but since the heavenly dragon wouldn't say, he could only deal with whatever came his way. The heavenly dragon asked,
Besides this question, is there anything else you want to ask?
Lin Moyu said,
The small world where Antares has left, taken to the Realm Sea. I saw it when I was in the Realm Sea.
The heavenly dragon's eyes changed again.
Really left?
Lin Moyu nodded.
Yes.
The heavenly dragon laughed loudly.
Good, good. It's good that it left.
Lin Moyu said,
Does this mean Antares is really coming out soon?
The heavenly dragon shouted.
Soon, soon. Those old guys wait for me. I will kill my way back sooner or later.
At this moment, the heavenly dragon was extremely excited, almost crazy. Clearly, the departure of Antares was extremely important. Lin Moyu didn't know what it meant, but he knew that leaving was a good thing. After the heavenly dragon calmed down, Lin Moyu said,
I have no more questions. As for the human senior, do you want me to bring him here, or what?
The heavenly dragon said,
No rush. Let's wait until I absorb the dragon pearl.
The heavenly dragon opened the dragon trap sphere and released the dragon pearl inside. The dragon pearl trembled and vibrated continuously. Faint dragon roars could be heard, clearly showing its fear. The heavenly dragon sneered.
There are indeed some reckless fools who dare to tamper with my dragon pearl. They are truly courting death. I remember your aura. When I find you, I will skin you alive.
The dragon pearl is the most precious thing to the dragon clan, more valuable than any treasure. Daring to tamper with the dragon pearl is a matter of life and death. Antares and the heavenly dragon were punished, even having their dragon pearls taken away, showing how severe the punishment was. Lin Moyu said,
You mean the dragon pearl didn't naturally evolve intelligence, but someone tampered with it?
The heavenly dragon nodded.
Yes, that person deserves to die. If it had taken a few more thousand years to find it, this dragon pearl might not have belonged to me anymore. But fortunately, the dragon pearl is back now, and that person didn't succeed.
The heavenly dragon patiently explained to Lin Moyu that once a dragon pearl develops self-awareness, it can evolve into an independent world. The dragon pearl will nurture within the world. A long process, but if successful, it can become a member of the dragon clan. By then, the dragon pearl would have nothing to do with the heavenly dragon. The loss to the heavenly dragon would be enormous, and whoever did this would be an enemy for life. Lin Moyu asked,
Can you find that person?
The heavenly dragon said,
I remember the aura. I will find them eventually.
Lin Moyu took out the gemstones he had obtained earlier.
What are these?
2331, 2331. Chapter 2331. Celestial Venerable, just okay. The heavenly dragon glanced at the gemstones with a hint of disdain.
Just a few of the lowest grade dragon crystals. This guy probably didn't want to attract attention, so he didn't even dare to use better dragon crystals. Using the lowest grade dragon crystals, how many years would it take to nurture the dragon pearl to maturity? What a waste. It seems this guy's status in the clan isn't very high either.
The heavenly dragon sneered, while Lin Moyu listened attentively. From the heavenly dragon's words, he could infer a lot of information. After the heavenly dragon finished speaking, Lin Moyu asked,
Do you think that guy might also be under someone's orders?
The heavenly dragon looked over.
What do you mean?
Lin Moyu said,
You mentioned that the person who did this doesn't have a high status. How could someone with a low status dare to provoke you? So, I think there might be someone behind him giving orders. You should investigate thoroughly.
The heavenly dragon frowned.
That would be troublesome. If he made a vow, no matter what I do, I won't be able to make him reveal it.
The aura on the dragon pearl could only trace back to the person who tampered with it, not the person behind them. Lin Moyu said,
I can give it a try. You know I can resurrect the dead.
When Lin Moyu had previously asked the heavenly dragon for a corpse, he had demonstrated his resurrection spell. The heavenly dragon's eyes lit up as he remembered this spell.
Haha, you're quite something. Not bad, not bad. When I find that guy, I'll bring the corpse back to you.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Happy to oblige.
The heavenly dragon laughed continuously, clearly in a good mood. He exhaled dragon breath, refining the dragon pearl. The newly born weak intelligence within the dragon pearl quickly disintegrated under the heavenly dragon's refining. Lin Moyu could vaguely hear the screams coming from the dragon pearl. A soul-piercing sound, very tragic. To the heavenly dragon, these screams were a form of enjoyment. This was his dragon pearl, and such intelligence shouldn't have appeared. Taking advantage of the heavenly dragon's good mood, Lin Moyu asked,
Outside the great world, what level is a celestial venerable?
The heavenly dragon didn't even think before answering.
Just okay.
Lin Moyu knew that if he directly asked about the situation outside the great world, the heavenly dragon would definitely not answer. It was better to indirectly ask about the power levels, and through understanding these levels, he could infer some information about the outside world. Sure enough, the heavenly dragon answered. Lin Moyu immediately followed up.
What do you mean by just okay?
The heavenly dragon said,
Just okay means just okay. Not too strong, not too weak, average.
Lin Moyu put on a puzzled expression, seemingly talking to himself.
Equivalent to a god venerable in the great world?
The heavenly dragon shook his head.
A bit stronger than that, comparable to the other shore realm, more or less.
The other shore realm is a major realm, including Saint Venerable and Half-Step Supreme. Above it are Supreme and Celestial Venerable. If a Celestial Venerable is considered the other shore, then above Celestial Venerable is Tao Venerable. What comes after Tao Venerable? Lin Moyu still pretended not to understand.
If a Celestial Venerable is the other shore, then what is a Tao Venerable? Isn't a Tao Venerable the strongest? A Tao Venerable is certainly not the...
The heavenly dragon suddenly stopped mid-sentence. He then snorted heavily.
Kid, you're trying to trick me.
Lin Moyu shook his head.
No, I'm sincerely asking.
Such tricks could never be admitted. The heavenly dragon snorted twice, but without evidence. He couldn't do anything to Lin Moyu.
You're a sly one. The more you talk, the more mistakes you'll make. It's better to talk less with you in the future.
Lin Moyu quickly changed the subject.
You haven't told me how to heal him. What's the rush? Wait.
He was still refining the dragon pearl, and the screams from within had already disappeared, with the aura changing accordingly. The light within the dragon pearl grew stronger, much stronger than before. The heavenly dragon murmured,
My dragon pearl, finally back.
He opened his mouth and swallowed the dragon pearl, and his aura surged instantly. The powerful aura broke through the starry sky, forcing Lin Moyu to retreat 1,000,000 miles in an instant.
Peak Supreme!
Lin Moyu whispered. After obtaining the fourth dragon pearl, the heavenly dragon's aura reached peak supreme and was still rising. It could be imagined that once all the dragon pearls were absorbed, his realm would be infinitely close to Celestial Venerable. If the fifth dragon pearl could also be found, the heavenly dragon's realm would surely reach Celestial Venerable. He wasn't exaggerating. Losing the dragon pearl was a process of breaking and then rebuilding for him. Dragon roars echoed through the starry sky as the heavenly dragon vented his emotions. Lin Moyu didn't disturb him. After being suppressed for so many years, he indeed needed to vent. After the heavenly dragon had vented enough and his aura stabilized, Lin Moyu approached.
Congratulations, you're almost a Celestial Venerable.
The heavenly dragon chuckled.
That depends on you.
He was referring to the fifth dragon pearl. Lin Moyu said,
I'll do my best.
The heavenly dragon said,
Give me one of the dragon crystals.
Lin Moyu tossed a dragon crystal to the heavenly dragon, who exhaled a flame onto it. The dragon crystal immediately softened and eventually turned into a bead. The bead had 7 colored clouds swirling around it. Very beautiful. The heavenly dragon said,
Your friend was injured by our dragon clan's secret technique, the soul-eroding flame. Let him refine this bead with his soul, and he will be healed.
Lin Moyu put away the bead.
Is there any other way to heal the soul-eroding flame?
The heavenly dragon said,
Of course, if you were a Celestial Venerable, you could heal it directly.
Alright, that means it's not possible. There are no Celestial Venerables in the great world now. The heavenly dragon added,
But that's just a low-level soul-eroding flame. If I used the soul-eroding flame, even a Celestial Venerable wouldn't be able to heal it. Actually, if I used the soul-eroding flame, your friend would already be dead.
Being a Dragon Clan secret technique and passed down through the Dragon Pearl, it was naturally not an ordinary secret technique. Different secret techniques and different realms of people using them would have different effects. Lin Moyu understood this well.
By the way, I have another question. Do you know what the essence of ancestral water is?
Lin Moyu suddenly asked. The heavenly dragon's expression changed dramatically.
How do you know about the essence of ancestral water?
Lin Moyu recounted how he obtained the essence of ancestral water. The heavenly dragon was stunned, speechless for a long time. After a while, the heavenly dragon murmured,
You actually obtained the ancestral water and even the essence of ancestral water. That person was willing to give you the essence of ancestral water. What luck you have.
Lin Moyu asked.
What is the essence of ancestral water used for?
The heavenly dragon thought for a moment.
The use of ancestral water is simple. It can enhance everything, useful in spells, alchemy, artifact refining, and array formation. It's similar to the so-called water of myriad colors in this world, but much more effective. As for the essence of ancestral water, I don't know its use. I only know that Lord Dragon God once accidentally obtained a drop of the essence of ancestral water and treasured it. What exactly it does, probably only the Dragon God knows.
Lin Moyu laughed bitterly.
Where can I find the Dragon God to ask?
The heavenly dragon said,
Maybe in the future, when you meet someone of the same level as the Dragon God, you can ask. I don't know.
Lin Moyu knew he wouldn't get more answers, sighed.
I understand. I'll be off now. Don't forget about the matter in 1,000 years. If you want to sleep, don't oversleep.
The heavenly dragon shook his head.
Don't worry, I, the heavenly dragon, never go back on my word. Don't forget to help me find the 5th dragon pearl. Rest assured.
After Lin Moyu left, the heavenly dragon closed his eyes contentedly, exhaling deeply.
So satisfying. The first prince went to the realm sea. He should be coming out soon. I'm almost there too. You old guys, your good days are over. The dragon clan needs new blood. Lin Moyu, this kid is pretty good. No wonder the first prince values him. Friends, such an ancient term.
He closed his eyes, enjoying the immense power brought by the dragon pearl. His strength approaching celestial venerable. In the Bai family of the human Star City domain, Lin Moyu returned to the Bai family. As soon as he stepped out of the teleportation array, Bai Yi came up to greet him.
Mr. Lin, you're back.
Lin Moyu asked curiously,
Why are you here?
Bai Yi replied.
I specifically applied to be here, waiting for Mr. Lin to return.
Lin Moyu asked,
How long have you been waiting?
Bai Yi said,
Since you left, I've been waiting. But don't worry, I haven't neglected my cultivation. I won't waste your kindness.
Lin Moyu could sense that compared to 3 years ago, Bai Yi's cultivation had indeed improved. He hadn't been slacking off. Lin Moyu nodded.
Take me to see Senior Chioxia.
2332 2330. Chapter 2332. Strange Things. After 3 years, Lin Moyu met Bai Chioxia again. Bai Chioxia had been living comfortably for the past 3 years. With the power of life suppressing her injuries, although she hadn't made any progress in her cultivation, at least she had no problem controlling her strength. She also looked much younger, no longer showing signs of aging or decay. Lin Moyu handed a bead to Bai Chioxia.
Refine this, and your injuries will be healed.
Bai Chioxia was stunned.
Is it that simple?
The injuries that had troubled her for so many years could be healed with such an unremarkable little bead? Lin Moyu said,
The great Tao is simple. Don't overthink it. Just refine it.
Bai Chioxia nodded, immediately conjuring a soul flame to refine the bead. The bead melted instantly, turning into a stream of water that drilled into her soul. Bai Chioxia shivered all over and exhaled a breath of turbid air. A sense of indescribable comfort rose from the depths of her soul, sweeping through her entire body.
So comfortable.
Bai Chioxia instinctively shouted.
It's been so many years since I felt this comfortable after getting injured.
With her soul injuries healed, Bai Chioxia returned to her peak condition. Her strength was actually quite good, and years of accumulation were not in vain. Her foundation was solid enough. Lin Moyu could see that Bai Chioxia had a chance to ask about the Saint Sovereign Realm. Lin Moyu said,
Since Senior Chioxia is fine now, I will take my leave. Wait.
Bai Chioxia immediately called out to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu asked,
Does Senior Chioxia have anything else?
Bai Chioxia said,
Mr. Lin, your great kindness cannot be repaid. I only have a small gift to express my gratitude.
Lin Moyu said,
Senior, there's no need to be polite. The faith token you gave me has already helped me a lot. Besides, to be honest, I also gained something while looking for a cure for you this time.
Bai Qiuxia didn't care what Lin Moyu said and insisted on expressing her gratitude. She took out a small box and forced it into Lin Moyu's hand. Lin Moyu originally wanted to refuse, but when he saw the box, he couldn't say no. What Bai Qiuxia was holding was an ancient box, and it was not sealed with ancient symbols. Lin Moyu was curious.
How did Senior Qiuxia get this box?
Bai Qiuxia said,
I found it in a relic many years ago. There were 2 items in the box. One was a pearl from which I learned the method of collecting and using the power of faith. The other, I don't know what it is.
Lin Moyu asked.
Didn't you show it to the Saint Sovereigns?
Bai Qiuxia said,
I did, but the Saint Sovereign didn't know what it was either, so it was returned to me. But I know this item must be very precious. It's just that my knowledge is limited. This time, I give it to Mr. Lin as a token of gratitude. Please do not refuse.
Lin Moyu took the box.
All right, no matter what it is, I thank you, Senior. I also have something for you in return, so please don't refuse.
Lin Moyu took out 2 large pieces of fish meat. The fish meat was very fresh, with blood still flowing on it. It looked very ordinary, with nothing special about it. But Bai Qiuxia knew that anything Lin Moyu took out could not be ordinary. Lin Moyu said,
Eat a palm-sized piece each time. Roast it slowly with soul fire. It cooks very slowly, so take your time. After eating, cultivate well. With good luck, you may reach the Saint Sovereign realm within 500 years.
Bai Qiuxia's body shook violently, almost dropping the fish meat. She was extremely excited. Lin Moyu's words,
reach the Saint Sovereign realm within 500 years,
hit her heart like a heavy hammer. The Saint Sovereign realm, a realm countless cultivators dream of, was now within her reach, just with these 2 pieces of fish meat. Bai Qiuxia asked tremblingly,
Mr. Lin, can you tell me where this fish is from?
Lin Moyu smiled.
Jiahai.
After saying that, his body gradually became transparent. With a slight fluctuation of space laws, Lin Moyu had already left.
Jiahai. Jiahai.
Bai Qiuxia's voice trembled.
Where is Jiahai?
She had never heard of Jiahai, but she knew it must be a very mysterious place. Bai Qiuxia immediately connected to the Human Emperor network to search for information about Jiahai, but found nothing. She sent messages to several friends, asking if they knew about Jiahai, but none of her friends in the other shore realm knew either. Bai Qiuxia realized that this was not information that someone in the other shore realm could know. Finally, she asked the Human Emperor,
Human Emperor, Mr. Lin gave me 2 pieces of fish meat, saying they are from Jiahai. After eating them, they can accelerate my cultivation and give me hope of reaching the Saint Sovereign realm.
Soon, the Human Emperor's voice sounded in Bai Qiuxia's ear.
If you want to know about Jiahai, cultivate to the Saint Sovereign realm. The fish meat Mr. Lin gave you is very precious. Don't waste it.
Hearing the Human Emperor network's response, Bai Qiuxia was invigorated.
Please rest assured, Mr. Lin. I will work hard to cultivate and reach the Saint Sovereign realm as soon as possible.
After leaving the Bai family, Lin Moyu went directly to the Human Emperor's place and took out the ancient box given by the Bai family.
Human Emperor, Senior Qiuxia gave me this. Have you seen it before?
The Human Emperor condensed a projection.
I've seen it, but neither Xing Lao nor I could tell what it is, so it was returned to Bai Qiuxia. Bai Qiuxia obtained the power of faith from it. The power of faith was one of the human race's powers in ancient times, but it was lost later. Bai Qiuxia rediscovering the power of faith is a great achievement.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Even you don't know what it is, so I probably won't know either.
He opened the box and saw the item inside. It was a cone-shaped object, about the size of a palm, with a sharp front and an oval back. Lin Moyu couldn't feel anything special about the cone. He tried to communicate with it using his soul, but there was no response. He tried several times but couldn't figure out its purpose.
Strange thing, it's either a material nor a treasure. But anything that can be put in a box like this must not be ordinary.
The Human Emperor said,
We tried various methods but couldn't find its correct use. You can slowly study it. Maybe you'll find the right way to use it.
Lin Moyu nodded.
I'll study it slowly. There's no rush.
After bidding farewell to the human emperor, Lin Moyu returned to his manor. On the lawn outside the manor, a small cow was lying there, drooling, dreaming about something delicious. It had been sleeping for a long time. In the past 3 years, Xiao Wu hadn't returned, and the small cow was rarely so quiet. Lin Moyu silently arrived at the front of the manor. The small cow didn't react at all, not noticing Lin Moyu's arrival. Lin Moyu seemed to merge with the space. As long as he didn't want to be discovered, even if the small cow was awake, it wouldn't notice him. A familiar fragrance wafted from the manor, entering Lin Moyu's nostrils. Lin Moyu's eyes were filled with memories. It was the fragrance of iced tea. Thinking of the past, when Yuju was almost burned, her sooty face was quite amusing. Each adventure, each harvest, and trading with Yuju were still vivid in his mind. Lin Moyu walked into the manor and said loudly,
I want to sell something.
A few seconds later, a silver bell-like voice rang out from the manor.
Captain, Yuju has been waiting for you for a long time.
2333 2333. Chapter 2333. Why not together? In the manor, there is a pavilion identical to the one Yuju had in the trading post back in the day. The pavilion exists as a commemoration. Yuju and Yuchingru were drinking tea in the pavilion, specifically iced tea from the Ice Clan. The Ice Clan is now extinct, but iced tea has not disappeared. Among the high-ranking humans, many are tea enthusiasts. Iced tea is not particularly high-end but very distinctive, so it has been preserved. Yuju still has a lot of iced tea, and she has always drunk it. Each time she drinks, she remembers Lin Moya and their shared memories. She used to drink alone, but now she has company. While drinking tea, she shared her experiences with Lin Moya with Yuchingru. Over the years, while Lin Moya was absent, the two lived together and trained together, becoming genuine sisters. Now that Lin Moya has finally returned, both were very happy and a bit shy. They had talked about what would happen when Lin Moya returned during their chats. Although they were not planning to hold a wedding just yet, their relationship was already an open secret. If they were to hold a wedding, all the high-ranking humans would probably attend. It would be a grand human celebration. Lin Moya's influence among the high-ranking humans likely surpasses all the holy ones. As for whether they would become mothers by the time of the wedding, that was uncertain. Seeing Lin Moya step into the pavilion, Yuju's pretty face blossomed with a smile. She poured tea for Lin Moya, her voice extremely gentle.
Husband, will you be leaving again this time?
Yuchingru's beautiful eyes also looked over, silently asking the same question.
Will you leave again?
Lin Moya smiled slightly, his gaze sweeping over their pretty faces.
I plan to rest for a while and spend time with you.
Yuju was the first to exclaim happily.
Really? That's great. How long do you plan to rest?
Lin Moya took a sip of the iced tea, the cold tea entering his body bringing a chill.
It depends on how long you make tea for me.
Yuju giggled.
For as long as you want, husband.
Lin Moya said.
Then I'll rest forever. It's settled then.
Yuju smiled even brighter. Yuchingru said softly.
After being busy for so long, it's indeed time to rest.
Lin Moya sighed.
Yes, it's time to rest.
Yuchingru, unlike the lively Yuju, was more often quietly listening. After drinking tea for a while and washing away the travel dust, Lin Moya took out some fish meat.
Here's something good for you.
Sea boundary fish meat can significantly enhance cultivation up to the Holy One level. Of course, it also depends on their qualifications. Sea boundary fish meat can aid in cultivation but cannot turn a pig into a Holy One. He explained the origin of the fish meat, mentioning meeting Luo Qitian and Yulaner in deep space. Yuchingru's eyes sparkled.
Princess Lana is still alive.
Yulaner's lifespan had long exceeded the limit of the Fishman clan. but she was still alive. In the Fishman clan, she was long thought to be dead. Luo Xin could live longer due to his human blood, which was understandable. But why could Yu Lan'er live so long? Yuqin Gru suddenly thought of something, her face blushing. Yu Zhu also thought of it.
Husband, shouldn't you help extend Sister Qingrou's lifespan quickly?
Yu Qingrou's pretty face turned red, and she glared at her.
Yu Zhu, don't say nonsense.
Yu Zhu said,
I'm not talking nonsense. Should I help prepare the bed?
Yuqin Gru raised her hand as if to hit her, but suddenly changed it to a grab, holding Yu Zhu's arm.
Why not together?
Yuqin Gru didn't know where she got the courage to say this. Yu Zhu, who had been planning to watch the show, suddenly turned from an outsider into an insider. Her pretty face turned red as well.
Sister Qingru, what are you talking about?
The same words, but from a different person this time. Lin Moyu watched their conversation, and the manner became more lively. Feeling warmth growing in his heart, Lin Moyu softly thought,
If only you were here too, how wonderful it would be.
His soul gently leaned against the coffin of slumber, and the world tree gently draped over him, as if comforting him. Supreme Red Star was busy arranging the 10,000 Stars formation. He had obtained a treasure from the Blood Spring ruins, which could greatly enhance the power of the 10,000 Stars formation. The 10,000 Stars formation could exhibit combat power comparable to a high-level Supreme. The formation was strong but also had its weaknesses, such as being difficult to move and having a limited combat range, unlike a truly flexible and mobile Supreme. 10 formations were arranged around the human star region, barely protecting it. Another weakness was that the formation could be broken if the enemy concentrated their efforts on a single point, not needing to confront all 10 formations simultaneously. The human formation masters were working on solving this issue. They were trying to link the 10 formations together to eliminate this flaw. This task was challenging but not impossible. Years passed, and Lin Moyu stayed with Yu Zhu and Yuqin Gru after returning. During their training breaks, he would sometimes take them out of the manor to travel. The human star region had expanded significantly, and some of the planets brought back from other races, after modifications, still retained their original landscapes, becoming beautiful sceneries. Lin Moyu would also take them outside the domain to see what it was like. While traveling, Lin Moyu would also look for the last Dragon Ball, but he never found it. He did encounter a few more instances of sea boundary entering the Great World. Twice, strange fish swam in, which Lin Moyu killed. The fish meat was eaten, and the bones in their heads were given to Yuqin Gru. Lin Moyu noticed that the frequency of sea boundary appearances was increasing. Especially in the border areas, he could feel the impact of the sea boundary, with the space constantly shaking. This also meant the Great World's control over the border areas was weakening. After severing causality, the Great World's origin lightened, but it didn't recover, only delaying the collapse. Changes in the border areas were the best evidence. Over 1,000 years, the Great World continued to expand, but its control grew weaker. Lin Moyu felt that over time, this situation would worsen until the Great World completely lost control of the borders. At that point, the sea boundary would flood in, with its power and creatures overwhelming the Great World. Then the Great World would be doomed, collapsing and being swallowed by the sea boundary. Most creatures in the Great World wouldn't survive except for a very few. Lin Moyu wouldn't let this happen. He wouldn't allow it. 200 years later, the sea boundary shell became usable again, and Lin Moyu activated it to enter the sea boundary for the third time. After 200 years, Lin Moyu found the Great World had changed again. It was slightly larger and the borders seemed thinner, often cracking. The sea boundary was still turbulent, with no end in sight. The small world he was born in had disappeared. The Dou world had moved closer to the Great World, and they would soon meet. 800 years in the Great World was only about 30 days in the sea boundary. Suddenly, a light flickered on the Dou world, and a figure appeared above it. 2334 2334. Chapter 2334. Who eats who is hard to say. The other person wore an exquisite set of armor. like a powerful knight. As Lin Moyu looked at him, he also looked at Lin Moyu. A powerful pressure emanated from him, transforming into an invisible giant hand crushing down towards Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu remained unmoved, his expression unchanged in the face of the powerful pressure. He neither counterattacked nor dodged, treating it as if it didn't exist. The rule world that surpassed perfection showed its advantage at this moment. The pressure impacting the rule world couldn't cause much damage to it. Although there was a connection to the Realm Sea, the other's pressure crossing the Realm Sea had been weakened considerably. But the strength of Lin Moyu's rule world was undoubtable. Lin Moyu softly recited,
Peak Supreme, Battle Emperor?
From the pressure he felt, he could discern the other's realm. For the great world, this pressure was equivalent to a peak supreme. According to the information he had obtained, in the battle realm, only the battle emperor possessed peak supreme strength. Even the strongest star warriors were only high-level supremes. He didn't expect to see a battle emperor outside the world, which also surprised Lin Moyu. Seeing that his soul pressure was ineffective, the person who seemed to be the battle emperor also withdrew his aura, just silently looking at Lin Moyu. The two were still very far apart, and it was impossible to fight in the Realm Sea. From his eyes, Lin Moyu sensed a kind of greed. It was greed for the great world, as if he had already considered the great world as his possession, wanting to take it. Lin Moyu estimated that the person behind the battle realm had already told him the information about the great world. And behind the great world, there seemed to be no one. The great world was an abandoned world. Since it was abandoned, it would save itself. Lin Moyu leaped into the Realm Sea. This time, he didn't come to the Realm Sea for the battle realm. He wanted to catch fish. Fish meat was extremely beneficial for cultivation, and the bone in the fish's head had stabilizing effects, with many benefits. Besides this, there was another reason that prompted him to come to the Realm Sea. After so many years in the outer domain border area, Lin Moyu had gained some understanding of the Realm Sea. With each contact with the Realm Sea, Lin Moyu discovered that he seemed to be adapting to it. The influence of the Realm Sea on him was gradually weakening. This time coming to the Realm Sea was to verify his guess. Lin Moyu plunged into the Realm Sea, and the power within it once again hammered down like an iron hammer, striking his body and his rule world. The rule world rumbled, blocking the impact. Lin Moyu felt the difference.
It's indeed much better than last time. It seems the Realm Sea can be adapted to. Those Supremes, as long as they come to the Realm Sea often enough, can adapt to the impacts within and freely explore. Moreover, Supremes should be able to move far away from the great world, not limited to a 10,000-meter range like me.
Lin Moyu felt that if he contacted the Realm Sea a few dozen more times, he could completely adapt to its pressure. This adaptation was more like a fusion, as if the aura of the Realm Sea was constantly integrating, eventually accepting him. He would change from an outsider to a member of the Realm Sea. Lin Moyu used the Great World as the center, with a 10,000-meter limit, searching for strange fish in the Realm Sea. The number of strange fish in the Realm Sea wouldn't be few, and there might even be fish carrying origin crystals like last time. If such fish appeared again, Lin Moyu planned to try to seize the origin crystal. This time was different from before. The appearance of the elemental lich gave Lin Moyu confidence. Unfortunately, he didn't see any origin crystals this time. The Realm Sea waves rolled, and Lin Moyu gathered the power of life into a ball, placing it in the Realm Sea, using it to attract the attention of strange fish. This method was accidentally discovered by Lin Moyu. He found that the strange fish in the Realm Sea were attracted to the power of life. Thus, the method of using the power of life to attract strange fish was born. Sure enough, Lin Moyu soon sensed a large number of strange fish rapidly approaching. The fast-swimming fish caused the Realm Sea to shake. A large school of fish appeared in view, numbering over 10,000, densely packed, chasing after the power of life. Lin Moyu's lips curled into a smile. This harvest wouldn't be small.
First battle, don't disappoint me.
With a thought, he activated the spell. Spell. Summon Elemental Lich. A huge elemental lich appeared behind him, The elemental lich was entering battle for the first time.
Kill them!
At Lin Moyu's command, the elemental lich immediately charged towards the school of fish. Enormous power gathered in the elemental lich's fist, unlike laws or rules, but possessing infinite might. The realm sea water formed a vortex on its fist, and the elemental lich threw a punch. Spell. One punch breaks 10,000 laws. The realm sea exploded, and an indescribable force burst out, instantly crushing the school of fish. Above the realm sea, a huge water column shot up, reaching a height of over 1,000,000 meters. The people on the battle realm suddenly looked up, their eyes filled with some shock. Within the water column, Lin Moyu slowly flew up. Behind him floated several thousand strange fish. These fish were all dead, some with their bodies already broken, still dripping blood. The blood of the fish dyed the realm sea red. In front of the battle realm people, Lin Moyu put away all several thousand fish, then returned to the great world. The person on the battle realm who seemed to be the battle emperor watched this scene, his gaze flickering uncertainly. Lin Moyu's actions were undoubtedly a show of force. Killing several thousand strange fish in one move required extremely powerful strength. As for how strong it needed to be, that was for them to imagine. Lin Moyu returned to the great world with his harvest. So many strange fish would be enough for the human race's strong ones to eat for a while. Although it couldn't change the fundamentals, it could at least provide more opportunities for Saint Sovereigns to emerge. As for the bones in the fish heads, Lin Moyu kept them for himself, as they were very useful for Yuqingru. In this battle, Lin Moyu was very satisfied with the elemental lich's performance. The elemental lich's power exceeded his expectations. Without using the power of the Great Tao, just one punch breaks 10,000 laws instantly killed over 10,000 fish. That's why in the end, the harvest was only several thousand fish. A full third were completely pulverized by the elemental lich's punch. It was a bit wasteful, but the effect was truly amazing.
The wheel of fortune turns. I never thought that my strongest spell now would become the elemental lich. It's true that every spell is powerful. It just depends on how you use it.
As long as the corresponding materials could be obtained, the elemental lich was indeed strong to a ridiculous degree. Lin Moyu suddenly had an idea, and once this idea appeared, it began to grow uncontrollably. If he used an origin crystal to summon an elemental lich, what kind of elemental lich could be summoned? Lin Moyu had to admit that this idea was quite exaggerated and unrealistic. If there really were origin crystals, they would certainly be used to enhance spells.
When I reach Supreme in the future and have time, I'll go to the Realm Sea to collect origin crystals. Turn every spell into an origin level spell, then use origin crystals to fill up the elemental liches.
Lin Moyu thought about his lofty ambitions, then thought of that person from the battle realm and chuckled.
I wonder if I scared him. At least let him know that our great world is not easy to bully. Don't think that encountering the great world is like finding a piece of fat meat that can be eaten at will. Who eats who is hard to say.
2335 Chapter 2335. Let's go have a drink. Time flies. Ever since the 100 clans were eliminated and the stars were once again under control, the great world suddenly quieted down. The fortune of the human race reached its peak, and more geniuses emerged. In God City, people began to continuously break through secret realms, becoming prominent figures. They became new idols, and Lin Moyu's name gradually faded from people's minds. In the high-level area of God City, a grand wedding was taking place. 1,000 tables were set, and there were tens of thousands of guests. There were 2 couples getting married, for geniuses who had risen in the past few hundred years. All 4 had reached the high-level God-sovereign realm, and it was estimated that in a few hundred years they might reach the other shore realm. Over the past few hundred years, the 4 had conquered many secret realms and gained great fame. Most of the invited guests were from the major families of the God City Star region, and they were all geniuses, at least God sovereigns, with most being high-level God sovereigns. The younger generation was rising, while the older generation gradually moved to the background and no longer appeared frequently. The world had unknowingly completed a generational transition, making the entire world more vibrant. A group of young geniuses gathered together, chatting endlessly.
I'm really envious of these two guys, being able to marry such beautiful wives. They've known each other since the 4-star regions competition, and they've walked together all the way to now, with incredibly deep feelings. That's natural. I'm just saying. I heard they made a marriage pact before becoming God sovereigns and got married when they reached high-level God sovereigns. Their love is truly enviable. Who wouldn't be envious? If I could find such a partner, I'd be willing to drop a level in cultivation. Come on, you're just saying that. Dropping a level would be more painful than death for you. Ha ha ha, we're here to drink wedding wine, not to talk about other things.
At this moment, the fragrance of flowers filled the air, covering the entire star. Petals fell with the wind, like a waterfall from the heavens, turning the entire star into a dreamlike scene. A god-sovereign's wedding, no matter how grand, was not too much. Suddenly, someone exclaimed,
"The brides are here. The grooms are here too."
Amidst the falling flowers, Shui Xilan and Qing Fei, dressed in red wedding robes, walked hand in hand. On the other side, Chu Xiong and Zhuang Bai, also in groom's attire, stepped through the air. The two couples approached, their eyes full of love as they looked at each other. Flowers filled the sky, and the host loudly announced,
"The wedding ceremony begins." Wait.
His voice was suddenly interrupted. Everyone turned to look in the direction of the voice and saw a person slowly flying over. He looked very ordinary, seemingly without any aura. But upon seeing his identity information, everyone was shocked. Any previous dissatisfaction disappeared, replaced only by astonishment. Not only were the guests shocked, but Zhuang Bai, Chu Xiong, Qing Fei, and Shui Xilan were also stunned.
The Holy Venerable has arrived. It's actually the Holy Venerable. Why would the Holy Venerable come? Wait, it's not just the Holy Venerable. The one beside him is also a Holy Venerable, the Mist Holy Venerable. I've never heard of the Mist Holy Venerable before. So young, such a young Holy Venerable.
It was Holy Venerable who interrupted the wedding. He wasn't alone. Beside him was Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu was riding on a small ox, following Holy Venerable step by step. Her big eyes were full of curiosity, constantly scanning the crowd. Although Xiao Wu had been playing among the human race for many years, this was her first time attending a wedding, and she was very curious. Holy Venerable walked up to the host and said,
"Do you mind if I host this wedding?"
The host trembled all over. He was just an ordinary god sovereign and never thought he could be associated with someone like Holy Venerable. His excited heart and trembling hands made him stutter.
"And no, not at all."
Holy Venerable smiled.
"All right, I'll take it from here."
He then loudly announced,
"I declare the wedding ceremony of Zhuang Bai and Qing Fei, Chu Xiong and Shui Xilan, officially begins."
The wedding, which had stopped, resumed, but everyone was still in shock. Holy Venerable had anticipated this. He cleared his throat and loudly repeated,
"I declare the wedding ceremony of Zhuang Bai and Qing Fei, Chu Xiong and Shui Xilan, officially begins."
With his words, the sky was filled with a myriad of lights. Rainbows intertwined in the starry sky. Countless flames danced in the air, turning into fireworks. The entire starry sky became incredibly splendid. Someone exclaimed,
"This is the power of the Human Emperor Network. Oh my, the Human Emperor Network is here too." Not only did the Holy Venerable come to host the wedding, but even the Human Emperor Network came to congratulate. What are Zhuang Bai and Chu Xiong's backgrounds? They must be descendants of some super family. No, they all came from the 4-star regions competition. As far as I know, their families haven't even entered God's city. Then what's going on?
Everyone was puzzled, including the 4 newlyweds. They hadn't invited the Holy Venerable, let alone the Human Emperor Network. It was Shui Xilan who first reacted.
Could it be Brother Lin?
Zhuang Bai realized.
It must be Brother Lin. Only he could invite the Holy Venerable. Brother Lin is truly extraordinary.
Qing Fei laughed. Chu Xiong grumbled.
So what do we do now?
Shui Xylan rolled her eyes at him.
You fool, Brother Lin has already given us a big gift. Do you want to refuse it?
Qing Fei laughed.
Exactly, the wedding continues.
Zhuang Bai and Chu Xiong also laughed.
All right, let's continue. A wedding hosted by the Holy Venerable must be the first in God's city.
Shui Xylan said.
Indeed, they'll be so envious.
With the addition of the Holy Venerable and the human emperor, the originally enviable wedding became even more grand. The news spread almost instantly throughout God's city, and everyone knew about the wedding. People began to wonder how Holy Venerable and the human emperor would attend this wedding. The human race had many geniuses and many got married, but none had ever had the Holy Venerable attend. Moreover, it seemed that the Holy Venerable took the initiative to host the wedding without being invited. This became a mystery, and all the cultivators in the God City Star region became puzzle solvers. Finally, news came out.
Zhuang Bai, Chu Xiong, Qing Fei, and Shui Xylan are all friends of Lin Moyu.
With this news, everyone had a sudden realization. In recent years, although Lin Moyu's name was mentioned less and less, his legend was still sung. Even after tens of thousands of years, Lin Moyu's name would still be in the history of the human race. The grand wedding reached its climax, with guests toasting and celebrating. The quality of the food and wine no longer mattered. Seeing the Holy Venerable in person was already worth the trip. In the starry sky, space twisted, and Lin Moyu, Yuzhu, and Yuqingru stood in another dimension, witnessing the wedding. Lin Moyu asked,
Are you envious?
Yuzhu shook her head.
A wedding is just a formality. What's most important is being with the one you love.
Yuqingru said,
In our clan, we don't care about such things. As long as we like each other, we become partners.
Lin Moyu sighed.
I will make it up to you in the future.
Yuzhu laughed.
Will it be with the four sisters?
Lin Moyu nodded slightly.
Actually, that wedding back then wasn't perfect. It indeed needs to be redone.
When Lin Mohan suddenly left back then, there was always a sense of regret. If there was a chance in the future, Lin Moyu indeed wanted to make it up to them. His words were light, but they warmed the hearts of the two women. Sometimes it's not about the formality but the intention. Watching the lively scene on the star, Lin Moyu asked,
Do you want to join the fun?
Yuzhu said,
It's up to you, husband.
Yuqingru also expressed indifference. Lin Moyu laughed.
Then let's go have a drink.
2336, 2336. Chapter 2336. You won't be able to give birth? Will you? Zhuang Bai and Chu Xiong's faces were flushed, not from drinking but from happiness. They were toasting guests with their beautiful brides. They didn't know how many glasses of wine they had drunk, but today they were drinking to their heart's content. Qing Fei and Shui Zhilan didn't mind them drinking. They let them enjoy the rare opportunity. Suddenly, Lin Moyu's voice sounded in their ears.
Do you mind if I join you for a celebratory drink?
The four of them turned their heads simultaneously to see Lin Moyu arriving with Yuzhu and Yuqingru. Zhuang Bai was stunned for half a second before reacting, laughing heartily.
Drink as many glasses as you want.
Chu Xiong also reacted.
Come, let's drink. We won't leave until we're drunk.
The four of them stopped toasting the guests and pulled Lin Moyu straight to the main table. Qing Fei and Shui Zhilan, the two brides, immediately pulled Yuzhu and Yuqingru, calling them
sister.
Warmly, and soon they were all familiar with each other. The strange behavior of the four immediately attracted the attention of everyone.
Who is this person? He looks very powerful, hiding his identity information. I don't recognize him. He seems quite young. I can't sense his level. Not just him, but the two fairies beside him. I can't sense their levels either. These two fairies are so beautiful, even more beautiful than the brides. Not only beautiful, but they also have a special aura. They went to the main table. They must be friends of Zhuangbai and the others. The Holy Venerable has stood up. My goodness, the Holy Venerable actually greeted them. They know the Holy Venerable.
Amidst the exclamations, Lin Moyu greeted the Holy Venerable. Lin Moyu smiled and said,
"What brings you here to have fun?"
Before he could finish speaking, a beautiful figure suddenly pounced on him, hanging on him like a kitten.
Master, Xiao Wu missed you so much.
Xiao Wu didn't care how others looked at her. She hung on Lin Moyu as she pleased. Xiao Wu's actions, coupled with the word
Master,
shocked the entire audience. Everyone was dumbfounded, their mouths wide open, unable to speak for a long time. Xiao Wu was the Mist Holy Venerable, and she called him Master, hanging on him so intimately. Who exactly was he? Could his status be even higher than the Holy Venerable? Judging by the Holy Venerable's demeanor, he seemed accustomed to this, clearly not the first time. Lin Moyu laughed.
Even if you're a Holy Venerable, you should act like one.
Xiao Wu shook her head.
Xiao Wu is a Holy Venerable now. Let's see who dares to say anything.
Well, her words were so righteous that no one could refute them. Lin Moyu had no choice but to let her be. Yuzhu and Yu Qingru laughed heartily on the side. They were used to such scenes and liked Xiao Wu's innocent nature. With Xiao Wu hanging on him, Lin Moyu continued to chat with the Holy Venerable.
What brings you here, and why is the human emperor here too?
The Holy Venerable laughed.
Aren't these your friends? I thought I'd bring Xiao Wu to have some fun and get some celebratory wine.
Lin Moyu laughed.
Do you lack wine?
The Holy Venerable laughed.
This wine is different. It brings good fortune. Aren't you here for the same reason?
Lin Moyu laughed heartily and said to Zhuangbai and the others,
You go ahead with your duties. Come back when you're done.
Zhuangbai instinctively said,
How can we do that?
Qing Fei interrupted.
All right, we'll trouble Brother Lin to wait a moment.
Lin Moyu smiled slightly.
Go ahead. I'll have a drink with the Holy Venerable.
Qing Fei pulled Zhuangbai, and Shui Jilan pulled Chu Xiong. After walking a certain distance, Qing Fei said,
Are you stupid? Brother Lin clearly has something to discuss with us.
Chu Xiong said curiously,
If he has something to say, he can just say it.
Shui Jilan rolled her eyes at him.
You're even dumber. How can he talk with so many people around? Go toast the guests and come back later.
Lin Moyu chatted with the Holy Venerable, while Yuzhu and Yu Qingru poured wine for them. With their levels, they wouldn't get drunk even if they drank the sea dry. The Holy Venerable said,
Thanks to the fish meat you brought back, many in our human race at the other shore level have started constructing their rule worlds. Before the great battle, at least 10 Holy Venerables will emerge. Although 10 Holy Venerables can't change much, and even 10 half-step Supremes won't make a big difference, it's better than nothing.
Lin Moyu understood the Holy Venerable's meaning. The human emperor and Star Elder had already told them that in the battle with the Battle Realm, they wouldn't need to take action. Even the human army wouldn't need to be deployed. If Lin Moyu lost, they wouldn't stand a chance. But they weren't doing nothing. Over the years, the Holy Venerable and Star Elder had formulated a plan together. If Lin Moyu were to lose, they would execute the plan, perishing together with the Battle Realm. They would rather die than let the Battle Realm gain any advantage. Lin Moyu said,
I plan to go to the outer domain again soon to see if I can find the last dragon pearl. If I can, the heavenly dragon will regain its peak strength, at least at the celestial venerable level. Even if the person behind the battle realm intervenes, we won't have to worry.
Over the years, Lin Moyu hadn't just been indulging in love. He had gone to the outer domain many times and visited the realm sea several times. When he had time, he would chat with the heavenly dragon. He and the heavenly dragon had become quite familiar, almost like friends. The heavenly dragon had said that if the person behind the battle realm really intervened, he would take action. But to be safe, he needed the last dragon pearl. The person behind the battle realm was likely a celestial venerable. Only if the heavenly dragon's strength returned to the celestial venerable level could he completely stop the other party. Otherwise, it wouldn't be safe enough. As long as they were at the same level, the dragon race feared no one. For this reason, Lin Moyu had searched for the dragon pearl several times but had not found it. Now, with less than 200 years until the battle realm's arrival, Lin Moyu planned to go to the outer domain again to search thoroughly. Originally, he had another chance to go to the realm sea, but the heavenly dragon told him not to go. The realm seashell had a limited number of uses, and if not necessary, it shouldn't be wasted. The Holy Venerable said,
"We are also about to take action. In a few years, the human emperor will issue an order requiring all humans to return and forbidding anyone from going out. The Heavenly Holy Venerable is now close to the half-step supreme level. He plans to take another divine journey after breaking through to see if he can enter the battle realm again."
Lin Moyu said,
"It doesn't matter if he can't enter. Tell the Heavenly Holy Venerable not to force it."
Over the years, the Heavenly Holy Venerable had taken several divine journeys but had not been able to enter the battle realm. The Heavenly Holy Venerable hadn't given up and planned to try again after becoming a half-step supreme. The Holy Venerable asked,
"What about you? When do you plan to advance to half-step supreme?"
Lin Moyu smiled.
"I'm still a bit short, but it should be soon. If nothing unexpected happens, I should advance before the great battle."
The Holy Venerable said,
"Your cultivation speed has always been fast. This time, it's the slowest."
Lin Moyu smiled.
"Maybe my luck has run out."
The Holy Venerable joked,
"I think you got married and forgot to cultivate. Never mind half-step supreme. When do you plan to have a child?"
The Holy Venerable suddenly squinted his eyes and whispered,
"You won't be able to give birth, will you? Get lost. Show some respect for your age."
Lin Moyu said irritably. Over the years, he hadn't been idle, working hard every day. But he just couldn't conceive. He couldn't conceive in the small world, and he couldn't conceive here either. He didn't know why. His body was definitely fine, but he couldn't figure out where the problem was. The Holy Venerable laughed heartily.
"No rush, no rush. After dealing with the battle realm, there will be plenty of opportunities. Maybe when you become a celestial venerable, you'll be able to conceive."
Lin Moyu drank his wine irritably, not wanting to pay attention to this disrespectful old man. 2337 2337. Chapter 2337. Rare item, Cold Star Ice Crystal. The guests finally dispersed, and the wedding came to an end. During the wedding, countless people asked Zhuang Bai and the others about Lin Moyu's true identity. Zhuang Bai and the others kept their mouths shut, refusing to answer. After waiting for everyone to leave, the four returned with a slight buzz from the alcohol. The four were indeed drunk, with 1,000 tables and over 10,000 people. How could they not be drunk? Upon returning, they couldn't help but sigh in relief. Qing Fei said,
"Weddings are really tiring. If I had known, I wouldn't have held one."
Zhuang Bai chuckled.
"This is just the first one. When we return to the four-direction star region, there's another one."
Qing Fei's face immediately fell.
"Can we cancel it?"
Shui Xilin also said,
"I regret it too. I didn't expect it to be so tiring."
Zhuang Bai shook his head and smiled bitterly.
"The elders in the four-direction star region are all family. It's impossible to cancel. At most we can invite fewer people."
They had no choice but to accept this reality. Lin Moyu laughed.
"You're all god sovereigns, capable of fighting for days and nights without issue. How come a single wedding has left you like this?"
They all sighed simultaneously. It wasn't physical exhaustion, but mental exhaustion. Chu Xiong exclaimed,
"I'd rather fight for days and nights."
Lin Moyu lightly flicked his finger, and 4 jade tablets flew out, landing in each of their hands.
"One for each of you. This is my wedding gift to you."
Zhuang Bai didn't feel embarrassed at all and shamelessly asked,
Senior brother Lin, what good things are these?
Lin Moyu's gifts couldn't possibly be ordinary items. Lin Moyu said,
Inside, I've sealed an ancient talisman. You can activate it with your soul power to launch an attack. The attack power depends on your soul power. At its strongest, it can reach the other shore realm. After each attack, it needs a day to recover.
This jade tablet wasn't actually very precious, just something Lin Moyu made casually, imitating the ancient talisman One-Punch Talisman card he once had. The One-Punch Talisman had helped him greatly in the past, allowing him to defeat enemies time and time again. Lin Moyu created this One-Punch Talisman hoping it could help his friends too, without becoming a crutch. The four's eyes lit up. This was a trump card and other shore realm attack enough to save their lives. Lin Moyu continued,
This jade tablet is also a spatial storage treasure. Inside, I've prepared fish meat for you. The fish meat has been portioned out. You should consume one portion each time you cultivate. Only after fully absorbing one portion can you consume the next. Don't be greedy, it could be dangerous. The fish meat can accelerate your cultivation speed. You should be able to advance to the other shore realm within 100 years.
The four's eyes shone even brighter. Such an amazing thing. Opening the storage space in the jade tablets, they indeed saw a lot of cooked fish meat. The fish meat was divided into pieces, each only the size of a baby's palm. Lin Moyu continued,
After finishing the wedding in the Four Directions Star region, return to God's city and don't leave again. The human emperor will issue an order soon. Just stay in God's city and cultivate well. Try to improve your realm as much as possible.
Lin Moyu spoke these words very seriously, without any hint of joking. Although they might not be safe even in God's city, if humans lost the war, they would still die. It would be better than being in the Four Directions Star region. Besides, Lin Moyu had his own arrangements. Zhuang Bai's expression changed slightly.
Is something going to happen?
Lin Moyu said,
Indeed something will happen, but I can't say. Just listen to me. If you want to know, cultivate quickly. Once you reach the other shore realm, you'll naturally know. Alright, your wedding is over. It's time for the wedding night. I won't disturb you anymore.
Just as Lin Moyu was about to leave, Qing Fei suddenly called out to stop him.
Senior brother Lin, please wait. Qing Fei has something to give you.
Zhuang Bai immediately said,
Right, how could I forget?
Zhuang Bai said,
We also found this item in a secret realm, but we haven't been able to figure out what it is or how to use it.
Chu Xiong said,
This thing is a bit strange, so we thought we'd give it to senior brother Lin. Maybe you can make something of it.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Alright, let me take a look.
Qing Fei rummaged through her storage space for a while before finally finding the item. Qing Fei took out a large diamond-shaped ice block. Just looking at it made one feel bone-chillingly cold. However, its surface didn't emit any cold air. Touching it felt only slightly cool. Lin Moyu took the diamond-shaped ice block, examining it from all angles.
I don't recognize this item either. Have you seen it before, Holy Venerable Hao?
Holy Venerable Hao also looked at it for a while.
It seems familiar. Let me think.
Holy Venerable Hao was knowledgeable, having lived for over 10,000 years. But after thinking for a long time, he couldn't recall. Finally, he sought help from the human emperor. The human emperor's light fell on the diamond-shaped ice block, seemingly scanning it. After a moment, the human emperor's voice sounded.
This should be a cold star ice crystal, formed from the collapse of a cold star.
The human emperor then displayed information about the cold star ice crystal for everyone to see. The cold star ice crystal had permanently solidified. Even if thrown into a star, it wouldn't melt. The formation of a cold star ice crystal was extremely harsh. It was formed from the collapse of a special type of star called a cold star, which is the opposite of a regular star. A cold star is entirely ice cold, like a giant ice ball with extremely low temperatures, continuously emitting cold air. Anything approaching a cold star would be frozen. However, cold stars are extremely rare. Currently, there are no cold stars among all the stars in the great world. The human emperor's records had some fragmented mentions of cold stars. There were instances where a cold star collided with a regular star, resulting in the regular star extinguishing while the cold star remained intact. There were also Saint Venerables who attempted to refine cold stars but failed, almost losing their lives in the process. As for whether anyone in ancient times successfully refined a cold star, it is unknown. Cold stars do not have as long a lifespan as regular stars. When their lifespan ends, they collapse. Some turn into nothingness, while others condense into cold star ice crystals. However, the human emperor's records did not mention the specific uses of cold star ice crystals. Lin Moyu examined the cold star ice crystal. It was perfectly diamond-shaped, symmetrical on all sides. To him, cold stars were the opposite of regular stars. In the world, there is both yin and yang. If regular stars are extreme yang, then cold stars are extreme yin. Normally, extreme yin power represents emptiness and should not manifest. However, cold stars occasionally appear in the world, though very rarely. Inside the diamond-shaped cold star ice crystal, mist swirled, and the interior seemed hollow, as if containing another world. Lin Moyu tried to explore the cold star ice crystal with his soul power, but as soon as he made contact, he felt a sharp pain in his soul. The part of his soul that entered the cold star ice crystal was frozen to death. Lin Moyu was shocked. The surface felt only slightly cool, but the interior was extremely cold. This kind of cold was something he had never encountered before, capable of freezing even his soul power. Qing Fei said,
"We tried various methods but couldn't break it."
Lin Moyu smiled.
"Let me try."
The immortal golden body erupted, covering his fist with flowing golden flames. Lin Moyu squeezed the cold star ice crystal with all his might, but no matter how much force he used, the cold star ice crystal remained unaffected.
Interesting.
The cold star ice crystal was so sturdy that it could withstand his strength. In terms of pure strength, Lin Moyu's power had reached the Saint Venerable realm, meaning even a Saint Venerable couldn't do anything to this cold star ice crystal. Lin Moyu was naturally unwilling to give up. He threw out a containment talisman and placed the cold star ice crystal inside. The divine power lich appeared beside Lin Moyu, its terrifying pressure flashing briefly before it rushed into the containment talisman. 2338, 2338. Chapter 2338. The Fifth Dragon Pearl. The containment talisman immediately began to shake violently. The space inside the ancient talisman could barely withstand the power of the elemental lich. When the elemental lich appeared, everyone present held their breath. For a moment, they felt as if they had seen an incredibly terrifying existence. The elemental lich was a peak supreme far beyond their level. This pressure alone was enough to crush them. Fortunately, the elemental lich only flashed by briefly. If it had stayed even half a second longer, Zhuang Bai and the other three would likely have embarrassed themselves. Inside the containment talisman, the elemental lich let out an angry roar. A connection similar to a Law Star river immediately appeared on its body. It wasn't a Law Star river, but something superior to it, the Power Dao. Lin Moyu had the elemental lich unleash the Power Dao, directly pushing its power to the peak. The containment talisman shook even more violently, as if it could collapse at any moment. Lin Moyu casually drew some glyphs, his movements flowing like water. In the blink of an eye, an ancient talisman flew out and merged into the containment talisman. The containment talisman immediately stabilized. At this time, the elemental lich threw its first punch at the cold star ice crystal. One punch breaks 10,000 laws, enhanced tenfold by the Power Dao. Boom! The containment talisman shook violently. Fortunately, the power of this punch was concentrated enough that the shockwave wasn't too strong. The cold star ice crystal was sent flying but remained completely intact. The elemental lich threw its second punch, the power increased 100-fold. This punch had already reached the absolute limit of a supreme, coming very close to a celestial venerable. The cold star ice crystal was sent flying again but still remained completely intact. The containment talisman shook violently again. This punch had also reached the limit of what the containment talisman could handle.
It's really tough.
Lin Moyu's heart stirred, and the elemental lich through its third punch increased 1,000-fold. The power of this punch had surpassed peak supreme, touching the realm of celestial venerable. The moment the fist collided with the cold star ice crystal, an indescribable force exploded inside the containment talisman. Unable to withstand it, the containment talisman shattered. The cold star ice crystal flew out, and Lin Moyu, quick-eyed and quick-handed, grabbed it. The moment he touched the cold star ice crystal, Lin Moyu's brows furrowed sharply. He instantly disappeared, leaving everyone present stunned, unsure of what had happened.
So cold.
Chu Xiong suddenly cried out strangely, and at the same time, Holy Venerable Hao also let out a light exclamation. Where Lin Moyu had been standing, a large area of ice had appeared. Holy Venerable Hao lightly touched the chair Lin Moyu had been sitting on, then immediately withdrew his hand. Holy Venerable Hao's fingers had actually been frozen.
Such powerful freezing.
Holy Venerable Hao said in a deep voice. The fact that even his fingers could be frozen proved how terrifying this ice was. Yuzhu and Yu Qingru looked worried.
Is Moyu all right?
Holy Venerable Hao said.
Don't worry, with Lin's strength, he won't have any problems.
Xiao Wu suddenly looked up at the sky.
Master is up there.
Hearing this, everyone looked up and saw Lin Moyu tens of thousands of miles away from the star. Lin Moyu was now standing in space, his entire body covered in ice, having turned into an Iceman. Golden flames flowed over his body as he fully activated his immortal golden body to resist the ice. All the cold air came from the cold star ice crystal in his hand. A crack had appeared on the incredibly hard cold star ice crystal, and the cold air was leaking from this crack. Just one crack, and the cold air leaking out was enough to freeze a holy venerable to death. If Lin Moyu hadn't reacted quickly, everyone present would have been in danger. The crack on the cold star ice crystal wasn't large and was gradually disappearing. The cold air leaking from inside was also slowly weakening. Holy Venerable Hao and the others flew over, but before they could get close, Lin Moyu's soul voice sounded in their ears.
Don't come any closer.
Everyone immediately stopped, no longer approaching. A few minutes later, the crack on the cold star ice crystal finally disappeared completely, and no more cold air leaked out. Lin Moyu's body erupted in flames, burning away all the cold air. He finally returned to normal. At this moment, Lin Moyu's eyes were filled with endless excitement. He suddenly laughed heartily.
Truly, what you seek often comes after giving up. It came without any effort.
His eyes were incredibly bright as he looked at the cold star ice crystal, as if looking at a priceless treasure. Everyone else was confused, not knowing what had happened. Yu Qingrou's eyes suddenly lit up.
Husband, did you find the dragon pearl?
Lin Moyu praised her.
Qingru is so smart.
The elemental lich had used the power Dao, and its third punch reached 1,000-fold increase, touching the threshold of celestial venerable. This punch finally cracked the cold star ice crystal. A large amount of cold air leaked from the crystal, and within the cold air, Lin Moyu sensed the aura of the dragon pearl. It was the heavenly dragon's dragon pearl. Having encountered the heavenly dragon's dragon pearl 4 times before, he was very familiar with its aura and couldn't be mistaken. Unexpectedly, the last dragon pearl that couldn't be found anywhere was actually here. Lin Moyu took out the dragon-seeking ball, but it had no reaction at all. The cold star ice crystal had frozen everything. Even the aura of the dragon pearl was frozen, unable to resonate with the dragon-seeking ball. This way, even if he turned the entire great world upside down, he might not be able to find it. However, Lin Moyu felt something was off. How did the dragon pearl end up inside the cold star ice crystal? Cold stars were already rare, and cold star ice crystals could only form when cold stars collapsed. For the dragon pearl to enter it, it must have been placed inside before the collapse. Moreover, the heavenly dragon had said his 5th dragon pearl was in the outer domain, so how could it appear in a secret realm? Was the dragon pearl deliberately brought back from the outer domain by someone to mislead the heavenly dragon? Or did it just happen to fly back on its own?
Could there really be such a coincidence?
Lin Moyu couldn't be bothered to think too much about it. He casually put away the cold star ice crystal. The important thing was that the dragon pearl had been found. Whether it could be taken out or not was no longer his problem. That was for the heavenly dragon to worry about. Yuju giggled.
Congratulations, husband, you finally found it.
Over the years, Lin Moyu had gone to the outer domain many times, with one of his goals being to find the dragon pearl. Lin Moyu also laughed.
I didn't expect the dragon pearl wasn't in the outer domain, but right here.
He looked at Zhuang Bai and the others.
Thank you, this thing is very important to me.
Zhuang Bai laughed.
It's good that it's useful. For us, apart from being able to hit people, it had no use at all.
Indeed, for others, the cold star ice crystal was just an extremely hard ice cube, useless. Even holy venerables couldn't do anything to it. Holy Venerable Hao smiled.
This is also fate.
He was in a very good mood now. With the 5th dragon pearl found, the heavenly dragon could regain his strength. Then there would be no need to worry about the person behind the battle realm. No matter what small moves they made, the heavenly dragon could handle it. After sending Yuju and Yuqingru home, Lin Moyu immediately set off to find the heavenly dragon. In the boundary area, the heavenly dragon half closed his eyes, staring at Lin Moyu, his tone slightly impatient.
Why have you come again?
Lin Moyu had come many times over the years, saying he wanted to chat, but actually trying to get information. And he always unknowingly fell for it, revealing quite a bit of information. The heavenly dragon now had complex feelings towards Lin Moyu. He felt that, in terms of intelligence, he was indeed no match for Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu smiled.
I brought you something good.
Saying this, he took out the cold star ice crystal. The heavenly dragon recognized it at a glance and said in a low voice,
Cold star ice crystal, indeed a rare item, but what use is it to me? Without reaching Celestial Venerable, this thing is just trash. Even if one reaches Celestial Venerable, without cultivating the corresponding laws, it would still be useless.
It wasn't surprising that the heavenly dragon could recognize the cold star ice crystal. Who knows how many years this guy had lived? He had seen too many things. Lin Moyu smiled.
Of course it's not just the cold star ice crystal. Your last dragon pearl is inside.
Roar.
What?
Dragon roars shook the starry sky, resounding throughout the entire boundary area. 2339, 2339. Chapter 2339. You all must die, you all must die. The heavenly dragon's entire body trembled, each dragon scale shaking and making a sound like striking iron. Lin Moyu found it strange why the heavenly dragon was so agitated. The heavenly dragon kept roaring and howling.
Bastards, bastards! So it was really you, actually violating clan rules and using such despicable methods.
His anger swept through the starry sky. Lin Moyu could deeply feel the hatred in the heavenly dragon's heart. With just these 2 sentences, Lin Moyu realized that the dragon pearl didn't accidentally enter the cold star. It was deliberately placed inside, and even the cold star collapsing into a cold star ice crystal may not have been a natural occurrence. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry. After the heavenly dragon vented, this guy would naturally tell him the answer. The heavenly dragon vented for a long time. The starry sky finally became quiet again, but the anger in his eyes hadn't diminished at all, still burning fiercely. Lin Moyu said,
Tell me, what exactly happened?
The heavenly dragon glared at Lin Moyu and said coldly,
This is an internal matter of our clan.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Isn't it just that someone tampered with your dragon pearl and deliberately put it in the cold star? Actually, this isn't a bad thing.
The heavenly dragon roared again.
What do you mean?
Lin Moyu said,
Listen to my analysis. When we found the 4th dragon pearl, you already knew someone was plotting against you. But at that time you didn't know who exactly was plotting against you. You only remembered that guy's aura and wanted to kill him to possibly find out. Remember, that was only a possibility. What if that guy had already been silenced? Or if he fled far away and never appeared again, you would never know who was really behind it, right? Am I correct?
The heavenly dragon thought for a moment, and it seemed to be exactly as Lin Moyu said. He wasn't wrong. Although he remembered that guy's aura, he couldn't guarantee he could find him. The world is vast, and if the other party fled far away, it would indeed be difficult to find. Lin Moyu continued,
Now it's different. You also said that without cultivating the corresponding laws, one can't utilize the cold star ice crystal. If we reverse engineer this, without cultivating the corresponding laws, it would also be very difficult to put the dragon pearl into the cold star. Even if it was put in, who could guarantee when the cold star would collapse, and that it would definitely become a cold star ice crystal? This way, doesn't it narrow down the target range considerably? Think about it. Among those dragons who have a grudge against you, how many possess this ability?
The heavenly dragon's eyes lit up. After Lin Moyu's analysis, the target range had suddenly narrowed by countless times. He pondered briefly and seemed to have an answer in mind. His gaze became different. The previous anger had some bewilderment, but now the anger clearly had a target. Lin Moyu understood perfectly.
How is it? You've figured it out, right?
The heavenly dragon said coldly,
It's most likely those few guys. When I go back, I'll kill them one by one. None of them will survive. You all must die. You all must die.
This hatred was truly immense. Lin Moyu could hear that it was completely irreconcilable. Lin Moyu sighed lightly.
What a pity. You're only a celestial venerable. Even if you go back, so what? After so many years, they're probably celestial venerables too.
The heavenly dragon snorted coldly.
Of course I alone am not enough, but with the crown prince and others.
He closed his mouth again. This time he reacted quickly enough, realizing Lin Moyu was trying to get information from him again. Lin Moyu didn't give him time to react and quickly changed the subject.
So what do we do now? Your dragon pearl is locked in the cold star ice crystal, and you're not a celestial venerable yet. How will you get it out?
The heavenly dragon suddenly realized this was indeed a problem. The other party's tampering had put him in a dilemma. He wasn't a celestial venerable yet, so he couldn't do anything with the cold star ice crystal and couldn't get the dragon pearl inside. But without getting the dragon pearl, he had no way to restore his power. He seemed to have entered a dead end, with no way out. Lin Moyu said,
See? They've calculated everything perfectly. Knowing there would be no more celestial venerables in the great world, even if you got the cold star ice crystal, you couldn't do anything. You can only look at it, wanting it but unable to get it. It's just to anger you to death.
The heavenly dragon was very unwilling. He spewed flames from his mouth, burning the cold star ice crystal. But it was useless. The cold star ice crystal remained motionless in the flames. No matter how much he burned it, it had no effect. Lin Moyu said,
I've tried too. With all my strength, I could only make a tiny crack in it, but it quickly healed.
The heavenly dragon's eyes lit up.
You say you can make a crack in it?
Lin Moyu nodded.
Yes, but it's just a very small crack, only as long as a little finger.
The heavenly dragon said urgently,
That's enough. As long as you can make a crack, there's a way.
As he spoke, several dragon scales fell from his body. The dragon scales surrounded the cold star ice crystal, leaving only one side open. The heavenly dragon said,
You just attack this side.
Lin Moyu had an idea, and the elemental lich immediately appeared behind him. The elemental lich emitted the aura of a peak supreme, not much weaker than the heavenly dragon. This was the first time the heavenly dragon had seen the elemental lich. He looked puzzled.
Is this your summon? It's very strong, but it's only a peak supreme.
Lin Moyu smiled.
Just watch.
The power Dao activated, and a strange connection appeared around the elemental lich. When he saw the connection, the heavenly dragon let out a strange cry.
Dao Lao.
Lin Moyu asked,
What is Dao Lao?
The heavenly dragon said,
Let's do this first. I'll explain to you later. All right then.
Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry. The elemental lich activated the power Dao and threw a punch. One punch breaks 10,000 laws. With one punch, thousands of laws shattered. All spells crumbled. The first punch, 10-fold amplification. The second punch, 100-fold amplification. The third punch, 1,000-fold amplification. With the 1,000-fold amplification, the elemental lich touched the threshold of Celestial Venerable, and immediately a crack appeared on the cold star ice crystal. Because it was wrapped in dragon scales, the cold star ice crystal was fixed in the starry sky and couldn't go anywhere. The crack on it was even larger than before. Cold air leaked out frantically, along with the aura of the heavenly dragon's dragon pearl. The heavenly dragon laughed loudly.
It really is my dragon pearl.
Lin Moyu said irritably.
Did you think I was lying to you?
The heavenly dragon immediately denied.
Although you always try to get information out of me, your character is not a problem. I've never doubted you.
Lin Moyu said.
All right, how are you going to get the dragon pearl out?
In the cold air, several of the heavenly dragon's scales were frozen. The heavenly dragon spewed flames, and the flames drilled into the crack of the cold star ice crystal like thin threads. In an instant, countless water vapors rose. The heavenly dragon's flames collided with the cold air of the cold star ice crystal, like two powerful beings fighting, unleashing tremendous power. The starry sky became both cold and hot, with two extreme forces constantly overlapping and changing in the starry sky. The immortal golden body activated automatically, resisting the two extreme forces. The heavenly dragon's power had reached the limit of the supreme realm. Although it was still inferior to a celestial venerable, he could still resist the leaking cold air. He continuously spewed flames into the crack. Under his flames, the crack refused to heal. The cold star ice crystal wasn't large. Through the crack, Lin Moyu could see the dragon pearl inside. The dragon pearl was now wrapped in cold air, seemingly sensing the heavenly dragon's flames, and they began to resonate with each other. After a moment, flames appeared on the dragon pearl, starting to burn fiercely. 2340. Chapter 2340. Dragon God Tree Branch. The heavenly dragon and the dragon pearl resonated with each other, and flames appeared on the dragon pearl, growing increasingly intense. With the combination of internal and external forces, the crack on the cold star ice crystal completely lost the possibility of healing. More and more cold air burst out from it, colliding violently with the flames. The heavenly dragon's voice sounded.
The hardest part of the cold star ice crystal is actually its outer shell. Once the shell is broken, the inside isn't as hard as imagined. Additionally, it has the function of isolating and sealing, capable of isolating all auras. So as long as the dragon pearl is inside the cold star ice crystal, even if you use the dragon-seeking ball, you won't find the dragon pearl. That guy calculated everything very clearly, trying every possible means to prevent me from getting the dragon pearl. When the great world collapses, the dragon pearl will naturally fall into the realm sea along with the cold star ice crystal, and it will never be found again.
Lin Moyu laughed.
No matter how meticulous the plan, human calculation is not as good as divine calculation.
The heavenly dragon corrected Lin Moyu.
It's not human calculation, it's dragon calculation. You, kid, have extraordinary luck. Whatever you want, you can achieve.
Lin Moyu laughed.
Then I'll take your good words. I hope this time the great world can also be successfully saved.
The heavenly dragon said.
Don't worry. Once I regain my strength, the guy behind the battle realm is nothing. If you really can't beat the battle realm, I'll break the rules and still send those guys back.
Lin Moyu said.
Just sending them back isn't enough. I want more than that.
The heavenly dragon shook his head.
Understood. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'll be on your side when the time comes. You're my good brother. Whoever dares to bully you, I'll deal with them.
This guy was too excited, repeatedly calling Lin Moyu his brother. Antares also considered Lin Moyu a brother, but who knows what happened to him. The last 2 times Lin Moyu went to the Realm Sea, he couldn't see the small world anymore, and he didn't know where Antares went or if he had come out. The Heavenly Dragon and Antares knew each other, both punished by the Dragon Clan, carrying their anger towards the Dragon Clan, and both became Lin Moyu's brothers. Coincidences are everywhere. The Heavenly Dragon continued to spew flames, continuously melting the cold star ice crystal, and said,
"You're not far from Half-Step Supreme, are you?"
Lin Moyu nodded slightly.
"Not far."
The Heavenly Dragon said,
"You helped me find the Dragon Pearl, so I can't treat you poorly. Come and cultivate under my tree, and you'll break through to Half-Step Supreme. When I regain my strength, I'll find some good stuff for you."
Lin Moyu gladly agreed. He had long noticed that the tree where the Heavenly Dragon resided was extraordinary. However, he had never coveted it, nor had he asked about it. Now that the Heavenly Dragon invited him, he also wanted to see what was so special about this tree. The tree was 100,000 meters tall. Standing under it, Lin Moyu felt like a small ant, completely inconspicuous. Only by getting close to this tree could he truly see it. The bark was like dragon scales, thick and majestic, exuding a powerful aura. However, the aura of the tree was condensed and did not disperse. Once the distance exceeded 10,000 meters, it was almost undetectable. Lin Moyu carefully sensed it and felt that this tree was not as good as his world tree. The Heavenly Dragon's voice sounded,
"In our Dragon Clan, there is an ancestral tree called the Dragon God Tree."
Lin Moyu was startled.
"Could this be the Dragon God Tree?"
The Heavenly Dragon continued,
"This tree is just a branch of the Dragon God Tree."
Lin Moyu was speechless. He got excited for nothing. It was just a branch.
"Don't underestimate a branch. It's at least a celestial venerable level treasure. Relying on it, I could maintain my sane venerable combat power even after losing 5 Dragon Pearls. Even if I'm just a sane venerable, ordinary Supremes can't do anything to me."
No wonder the Heavenly Dragon refused to leave this tree back then. It had such great benefits. But this seemed to benefit the Heavenly Dragon. How would it help Lin Moyu's cultivation? The Heavenly Dragon continued to explain,
"Cultivating under the Dragon God Tree can accelerate cultivation speed, enhance physical strength, purify the soul, make breakthroughs easier, strengthen the rule world, sense the Dragon God aura, and increase the power of spells."
The Heavenly Dragon listed a bunch of benefits and finally summarized,
"Although this is just a branch of the Dragon God Tree, it has all the necessary effects, just slightly weaker."
The Heavenly Dragon was stunned for a moment. How much weaker? He hadn't really calculated. If he calculated carefully, it should be quite a lot. Lin Moyu could tell from his expression that it was probably quite a bit weaker. The Heavenly Dragon shook his head.
"The exact amount doesn't matter, as long as it's useful. You should know that our Dragon Clan only opens the Dragon God Tree once every 1,000 years, allowing qualified strong individuals to cultivate under it for 100 years. Those individuals are at least celestial venerables. You, a mere Saint Venerable, can cultivate under the Dragon God Tree branch. You should feel honored."
After listening to the Heavenly Dragon boast for a long time, Lin Moyu laughed.
All right, the Dragon God Tree is the best in the world."
This time, the Heavenly Dragon became humble.
"I wouldn't dare say it's the best. There are too many magical things in the world. For example, the legendary World Tree, which is incomparable to the Dragon God Tree."
Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat. The World Tree. The World Tree mentioned by the Heavenly Dragon couldn't be the one in his soul world. Could it? Thinking about it, it seemed impossible. How could such a thing appear in his soul world? Moreover, the World Tree wasn't originally called the World Tree but the Talent Tree.
It should just be a coincidence in name.
Lin Moyu suppressed his doubts and dismissed unrealistic fantasies. The Heavenly Dragon said,
"Absorb as much of the Dragon God Tree, branch's aura as possible. It's good for you. Don't you have Dragon Soul Crystals? They can also help you absorb. I'll continue melting the cold star ice crystal. You go ahead and cultivate.
The cold star ice crystal was very stubborn. Even with internal and external cooperation, it would take a lot of time to melt. Before starting his cultivation, Lin Moyu asked,
What exactly is the Tao law you mentioned earlier?
The heavenly dragon said,
Don't rush. I'll tell you later. You focus on cultivating first. I need to fully concentrate on melting this thing. It's really tough.
Seeing the heavenly dragon gritting his teeth, Lin Moyu stopped asking. He would find out sooner or later. He quickly entered a state of cultivation and began absorbing laws. He absorbed more law power from the Law Star River, sublimated it into rule power, and integrated it into his rule world. The stronger the rule world, the stronger the soul, which in turn strengthens the body and advances the realm. The entire cultivation process was like this. It wasn't complicated to explain but difficult to execute, especially for someone like Lin Moyu who possessed 4 laws. He had to absorb 4 types of law power simultaneously, sublimate them into rule power, and his cultivation speed was 4 times slower than those who cultivated a single law. However, Lin Moyu was different. He could multitask even when drawing runes, let alone absorbing law power. He multitasked, absorbing law power from 4 Law Star rivers simultaneously, sublimating it into rule power, and strengthening his rule world. Absorbing laws and sublimating rules consumed soul power. Even a Saint Venerable needed to stop and wait for soul power to recover after a period of cultivation. But Lin Moyu didn't need to. With the help of the World Tree, his soul power was inexhaustible. As soon as he used a bit, the World Tree replenished it. The cultivation process for a Saint Venerable was very long. For example, the house Saint Venerable had cultivated for over 10,000 years and was still a bit away from half-step supreme. Lin Moyu had only been a Saint Venerable for a few hundred years and was already close to half-step supreme, thanks to the World Tree's help. While he was cultivating, the Dragon God tree branch also emitted some peculiar aura, which drilled into Lin Moyu's soul. The speed of absorbing laws suddenly increased by about 10%, but the consumption of soul power didn't increase.
It really works.
Lin Moyu knew the heavenly dragon wasn't exaggerating. It was indeed effective. The Dragon God tree branch could increase cultivation speed by 10%. The Dragon God tree itself would certainly increase it even more. However, Lin Moyu wasn't too impressed by a 10% efficiency boost.
10% is better than nothing.
Just as he thought this, the Dragon Soul Crystal suddenly opened its mouth and emitted dragon roars. Its body glowed with 10 colors simultaneously, and it began to crazily absorb the aura of the Dragon God tree branch. 2341 2341